on here. I had anticipated that it would have been a number of hours ago, but that wasn't what the schedule entailed for today. So we're excited to finally be on here, talking power rankings, talking NFL, Miami Dolphins with the first pick in the 2027 NFL Draft select Jeremiah Smith, wide receiver, Ohio State. I think that's a bit of an expectation. What's going on, Mr. Brasco? How we doing? Trouble and P? What's going on, everybody? We just got started 30 seconds ago. If that, we're fired up to be talking power rankings, NFL. It's Thursday, May 21st. We've got, I want to say, it's exactly 9,900 days until the season starts. So this is the exact kind of time of year where it's okay to be wrong a little bit. Have your rankings in a place where there's people with other opinions about them. Chainsy, Pluto, what's happening, everybody? We are just getting started, less than a minute into this live for today. The expectation was that we would be done with the 4-hour stream by now, but we're actually just getting started right now. So a little bit delayed with everything. Got a couple of posts out. Took a little bit longer than we thought, but we will be here for the next 4 hours. There's a lot to discuss. This is my power rankings, folks. I'm Blitz with Blender. My name is Josh Blender. Happy to have everybody in here. And the Arizona Cardinals, with what they're looking, so you're saying, MJ, you don't think that the Seahawks are Super Bowl or bust? You'd put them where? Down in contenders category? What's going on, Tyler? MJ, is that, I'd imagine that's where you'd have them, because that's as high as a category as it gets. Would you have Seattle down a little bit lower? What's going on, everybody? YouTube? How we doing? Trouble and pair of dice. Let me know if you got questions about the order that we have it. Losing Kubiak matters. I just got to give credit to the champs, and they didn't lose a ton in the sense of talent. Losing Walker's, obviously, he's going to wind up being a better player in 2026 than whatever Jadarian Price turns into. But I did agree with them making that selection just to go with a need. They had a need. They needed another running back, and so they went in that direction. Eagles not contenders is crazy. Well, it appears that they're going to be losing a guy that's made them one. What you think about the Stafford extension, Teddy? I'm fired up about it. We get 2 more years of Matthew Stafford. Are you kidding me? The MVP's got 2 more years left, locked in. So I'm excited to see it. It's something I love seeing. Guys get their money and their dues, and they get paid. That's huge. Guys, if you can, on TikTok, make sure to hit the like button. We're going to try and get this audience up here if you can. Make sure to pound that like button so that we can get more individuals here into the chat. Stafford deserved it. Shout out to my Texas boy. Without a doubt. He's so talented throwing the football. And what negativity has there ever been about Stafford off of the field? You can't think of a single instance. There's been literally nothing. What's going on, Africa? How you doing? Looks like you just had a bit of success earlier with your live. Dean, what is happening? Everybody on YouTube, the NFL from NorCal, well, you can have your opinion. You're entitled to it. Feel like you got a little bit overpaid, but yeah, I definitely deserved. The MVP getting paid less than other individuals would be funny. From Mark Lewis. Mark, we can talk about anything. This is just a green screen. This is just a topic to get. We can have any conversation you want to about football. This is up to you guys. You ask a question about literally anything imaginable, and we'll go into it. It doesn't even have to be necessarily power rankings. It can be college football. It can be history of the game. We're going to talk about all of it. This is mainly just one as a background that's worked getting people in here, and then we chat about it. A matter of that's fine, but it's not exactly everything that we're talking about. Right? Most of the shows we're talking about. Well, Jets way way too high and rebuild from grungy. That's a good one. That's funny. Jets 2 deers down. So they'd be before the first pick in the draft. What am I smoking from X Chief? I'm a Chicago Bears fan, Mark, as well as a die-hard Ohio State fan. From X Chief, is this a let's have a combo. Let's have a combo. Absolutely. I'm a Dolphins fan, and I'm just over them from Tyrone. Tyrone, it's okay to be over them for one more year, but you might be getting number 4 from Ohio State into town relatively soon. That's what I've told every single Dolphins fan to give him hope. Is Holmes slowly turning into the... Not until he gets another one. He gets his 4th, now we can start having that conversation. Yeah, Caleb Williams is saving my life, quite literally, keeping me from a lifetime of sadness as a Bears fan. Tyrone, I'm a Dolphins fan, and I hope we get Jeremiah Smith. Absolutely. So 3 teams from each conference has not made the playoffs next year in history. Who is the 3 from each? I'm going to assume it says 3 teams from each conference that made the playoffs. I'm not exactly sure, MJ. I'm sorry if I'm reading that wrong. That'll be this year. My boys will be back. Yeah, Dallas, I'm very high on defensively. Sorry, MJ. 3 teams that made it last year that won't next year? Is that the question? I've got the Eagles lower because they lost a Blankenship, Dean. It looks like they're going to be losing A.J. Brown. I'm factoring that into this. So playoffs, question mark, exclamation point is like, are they going to be a playoff team next year? Playoffs? Like, are they going to be in there? That's why AG. That made it but won't make it this year. I think that would be pretty easy. I would go with the San Francisco 49ers, the Chicago Bears, and the Carolina Panthers in the NFC as 3 teams that made it. Noah, happy birthday to you. How old are we turning, Noah, if you don't mind me asking? What's going on, ARP? And then in the AFC, I would go with the Broncos. I'd go Steelers and Jaguars would be the other 3 teams. The weakness for the Eagles is safety. 13 years old. That's awesome. Man, what I'd give to be 13. Not much. I'm very happy with where I'm at 25. Fair enough, MJ. Yeah, those are the squads we'll go with. The Chicago Bears are considered a regression candidate. Makes sense after all those close wins, but the assumption is year 2, Johnson and Caleb together. It'll go together. Ape. Oh, okay. Sorry about the pronunciation. Yeah, the Panthers won. Appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you for subbing, and thank you for following. I appreciate that. What's going on, Evan? We're going to be here for the next 4 hours, folks. Caleb Williams gets even zestier. That's the first zesty I've seen in the last couple of weeks. It's great to see that word. I'm fired up, folks. It's a later start than we thought we'd have, but we are here once again. How can the Chargers be contenders if they can't get past the first round? Stitch, it's a great question. They're contenders because they got to the postseason without 2 of the best tackles in football. Love talking ball as long as it's not biased. That's what we're here for, Mark. That's what we're here for, exactly. And it's very tough. There's this middle range. There's 20 teams that you'd think could make the postseason next year. And it's tough to actually pick the teams that get in. Pats on top. Yeah, we've obviously got them as a contender. Mike McDaniel will make a huge difference for Los Angeles. Just getting the ball out of Herbert's hands quicker. How do we utilize some speed that we bring in now with Brennan Thompson? You saw the position of Thompson. The Patriots may be a joke, Romo, in your opinion, but again, they did get to the Super Bowl last year, and Drake May looked very good. They could be adding A.J. Brown potentially. From Christopher, Denver should be a Super Bowl contender. They only got better. Waddle is a game changer. I mean, it's Super Bowl or bust. I don't think that Broncos fans are going to be devastated if they don't win the Super Bowl next year. Whereas Rams fans, it's Super Bowl or we're upset. Seahawks fans, it's Super Bowl repeat or we're upset. And for Denver fans, I don't think they're there. I think Denver fans getting to the Super Bowl next year would be very happy on the solidifying of this team for the long term. Unless you disagree with that. That's where I'm at with Denver, why I wouldn't put them in there. What's going on, Jay? Yep. Rest in peace to Kyle Busch. Yeah, very, very sad news. From Jay, F you. Sometimes you just got to take it on the chin like I will there. If you don't like the power rankings, let me know what you would change. Broncos fans going to be mad. Chiefs taking that division back, Mark. I've got Mahomes as my number 5 best quarterback of all time. Fringe number 4. If he gets his 4th ring, he gets into the top 3, in my opinion. Panthers taking a step back this year. Well, I personally would see that happening if Bryce Young just is not. What's going on, Evan? What's happening? If Bryce Young does not have any sense of improvement, if he doesn't get better, I can see the Panthers taking a step back. But adding Jalen Phillips and Devin Lloyd to a defense that was already a top 10 unit in football, and they add Chris Brazzell, they add a tackle in Monroe Freeling, it feels like they're going to be higher, at least as good as they were a year ago. What do I think of Mendoza? The size. My favorite thing about him is size and toughness. Corey, what's happening? How you doing? Lamar, if Kyler plays well, Vikings win the North. He may have to play a little bit better than well. Remember when Sam Darnold and the Minnesota went 14-3, didn't even win the division. He was not just playing well. He was playing excellent. One of the best quarterbacks in football that year. The Bengals are contending next year for Bryson. Again, I got to see the run offense a little bit more. Give Joe Burrow support. And then it's not just that. It's not just that it'll help your offense, but what it can do for the defense. And the Patriots had an easy schedule. They did. But we can't say they're not contenders a year after they went to the Super Bowl, though. It's tough for me. Broncos fans, he still has plenty of time to catch Brady. Lol, my biased opinion. He's got a lot of time, but to win 5 Super Bowls, he's got to win 8. If he wins 7, are people still going to call him the GOAT? I don't know. Is there a separator? Mahomes did lose to Brady in an AFC title game. He did lose to Brady in the Super Bowl. Brady does appreciate you for the GOAT. Isaac, thank you for the follow. Appreciate that. Thank you for the sub. Appreciate you guys. Thank you very much. How are the Jaguars not contenders? That's a good question. Again, we've got the Chiefs and the Eagles in there, San Francisco, some pretty darn good football teams right there next to them. Part of Jacksonville, again, he's quarterback. You're seeing him right next to the Chiefs. Come on, Blitz. Chargers are Super Bowl. I don't think they're Super Bowl or bust, though, next year. Isaac? As a Chargers fan, are you devastated if they don't win the Super Bowl next year? I think Chargers fans simply just want to see, a playoff win or 2 from Herbert, and they're like, okay, exhale, take a deep breath. Herbert can actually get it done. Now we're going to build off of that. That's where the Chargers are at. So I don't think Chargers fans would be upset with an AFC title game appearance, and they lose a close game to somebody like Denver or Buffalo on the road in a title game. I don't think they'll be sad in the moment, but when they look back on the mountaintop of what the season looked like, they won't be upset. Johnny, I agree with you. If Mahomes looks like himself early, I'll put him in, obviously, contenders. But I got to see what he looks like in September. From Dom, zero doubt. I don't think I saw before that, Dom, on what we're commenting. Zero doubt about. We are firing on all cylinders, folks. Appreciate everybody being in here right now. Cowboys won't get in the Super Bowl anymore. They haven't been there in 30 years. Neither the NFC title game. So, I agree. I think he's going to do good with Walker. They haven't had a 1,000-yard rusher since 17 with Kareem Hunt in his rookie year. From Chief. Yeah, Chief, I'll hit you up. I'll absolutely check out your stuff. I'll shoot you a subscribe. What kind of sports content? I don't think I've seen you around before. LaMarvelous Cardinals will have a top 12 offense if quarterback plays well. So we're saying Carson Beck, if he plays well, yeah, I can see it. Marvin Harrison Jr. stacking into that position of what we thought he would be going into the NFL. Guys on TikTok, make sure to hit that like button if you can. And we're just trying to keep this audience nice and healthy and large here so we can get a continuous, steady flow of questions. It's really fun to go through this stuff. Appreciate you for hitting that like button. What's the question? How do you feel about Matt signing for more with the Rams? So one more year. He's got 2 left there. I like it because Stafford's like, let's say at the end of the year it doesn't go their way. It's like $55 million. 55 million reasons to come back and play one more season next year. So the Rams are without a doubt Super Bowl or bust for the next 2 years, the last of Stafford's career. How are the Ravens contenders? Well, as long as Lamar Jackson is there, it's a lot like Burrow. And you'd say, what about Mahomes though? Because he's there. But again, he's coming off of that injury, so I don't know what he's going to look like next season. Is he the same guy? Go Bears from Rick Dale. Bear down without a doubt. I am a Bear fan, Rick. I try and keep things unbiased on here. Johnny, I should subscribe. I think he is doing good with Walker. Yeah, without a doubt, I can. I'll throw it your way afterwards. You have to remind me though. Go to one of my videos and write in a comment because 3 hours and 45 minutes from now, it may be honestly tough to remember that. From Cole Soderquist, you are saying Vikings were 10-6 while top 3. When were they 10-6? While top 3 most injuries and mostly got they weren't 10-6 last year. Cole, are we saying Vikings are a dark horse? They are the definition of a dark horse. No one is, unless they're Vikings fans, giving them any thought to be a contending team next year to win the North. Bears 12-5 from Rick. That's a bit much for me from what the schedule looks like at first glance. I predicted Chicago to be fringe 11-6. Like, I think they're going 10-7. I can see 11-6 if you see the right progression from Caleb in this offense, not missing the easy ones. Remember, he's making the Steph Curry, the LeBron James unbelievable plays, but he's showing up at the free throw line and shooting 56%. You know, we got to be able to hit the free throws, hit the layups too, as well as the unbelievable shots. That's been the analogy that I've been making with Caleb, and that's what we got to see. If Burrow stays healthy, I can see 11-6 easily. John, I'm very sorry to hear that. My prayers are with you. That's awful. Mark, Colts are not bad as long as Jones, but not just stays healthy. Remember, like as well as he was using his legs early last year, Danny Dimes, that offense was rolling, and him and Taylor in the backfield. They lose Michael Pittman, which hurts, but I honestly, I like what Indy looks like. It's that division's loaded. Jacksonville's good. Houston's good. The Titans got a little bit better. Arnell, where is Tua? Where's Tua like on my quarterback rankings? I would have Tua outside the top 25. Green Bay, way too high as a contender. So besides Love being overrated, Travis, is it that you're a bit concerned about Micah, Devontae Wyatt, Tucker Kraft coming back from injury, if they're all going to be the same? I think Lions will be Super Bowl or bust. Could be. I mean, they've never been to a Super Bowl, right? So to call them Super Bowl or bust when the franchise has never been there, I'm sorry if I'm not saying that right, Dejaven. But I think the franchise and their fans would be very happy about a Super Bowl season where they get there, they wind up losing, they look back on that would be the best season in their organization's history. So that's where I would say, like, but you said they could be Super Bowl or bust. So you didn't say, like, I think they are, like they could be. I agree with you. They have the schedule this year to where, like, they should truly be Super Bowl or bust. And the Super Bowl window is closing there. The Goff salary, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Aiden Hutchinson getting paid. Jahmyr Gibbs will have to be soon. Jack Campbell just got an extension. Is left? No, left to right is not a difference. That is a very good question, Cole. Cole, with a high IQ question right there, Cole, with a big brain thought, Cole. I love it. Cole, make sure that you're following. I appreciate the follow. Thank you. And the subscribe. Everybody, how's the Miami Dolphins season looking? How's the Arizona Cardinals? I would say that we're looking at 5-12 at the max for the Dolphins and the Cardinals. next year. I think the Eagles might I just missed that. Thank you for the follow, Cole. I appreciate it. I think excuse me. I think the Eagles might just miss the playoffs. Their division is tough. I mean, it's getting compressed at the top, is it not? With Washington, you just seem are going to bounce back. The Giants are getting better, and they could be the power in the NFC East 2-3 years from now for the future, for half a decade. If it goes the right way with Harbaugh, that's what they've been. And the Cowboys now, with that defense coming together, they could be a lethal unit on that side of the football. From UF stuff, I think Tennessee will surprise a lot of people this year. What I like about what Tennessee could surprise people with is they could wind up 10-7. It's an improvement year over year, but they could play teams tough. They could beat the Houston Texans and keep the Texans from maybe getting a 1 seed, or they could limit the impact of, let's say, one of their divisional rivals from being a stronger team in the conference, getting a home game in the playoffs by beating them. I think that Houston wins the division. I've got them going to the title game with the addition of David Montgomery to that offense now, and they draft Keelan Rutledge, and then there's the 2 receivers in last year's draft out of Iowa State, Jalen Knoll and Jaden Higgins. I'm high on Houston, and then we can talk about their defense for days. Do you think the Panthers are? No, I don't think Carolina is a contender. I don't. That is the worst division in football for me, so they have an opportunity to set themselves up with a home game that they could win. Here we go, Steelers from Dr. Fauci. Not too sure, but he's probably better than Penix. I would still put Penix to whoever winds up their starter in the bottom 7-8 quarterbacks in football out of the top 25, honestly, for me, with whoever their starter is there. You really think the Giants have a brighter future? Well, brighter future or power rankings right now? His brighter future, I would say the Giants have a brighter future because they've got a quarterback on a rookie deal, and that $45 million in extra cap space gives you an opportunity to sign 3 more. You can get a cornerback. You can bring in a high-end defensive tackle if you don't like what the production is this year. You can go bring in another wide receiver opposite of Malik Neighbors to pair with Malachi Fields. I'm not going to say that Dallas is worse, though, than the Giants going into this year. They've got a veteran quarterback. They've got one of the best receiver duos in football, a defense that's improved. But I would say the Giants' future is brighter. I mean, you've got 4 years, and after this year, you'll have 3 years of a quarterback on a rookie contract, and not really more than 5 years until they'll need to be paid. I've got the Chargers over the Chiefs, Merk, man. Are you going to sit here and tell me right now that you're 100% confident Mahomes is back to himself? That's just my question. If he's healthy, obviously the Chiefs and Chargers are in the same contending category. That AFC West is absolutely loaded. Detroit from Shots Broads. Yep, I'm very high on the Lions. I am giving the Lions a prediction of 12-2. He's already throwing. I got to see him get hit, though. You know what I mean? Where I got to see Mahomes take a shot to his knee. And is he scrambling around to the same ability? Because his movement is what separated him. That's where Mahomes scrambling around, breaking a tackle. He goes and gets 10 yards on 3rd and 9. Right? That's what has made him unbelievable. Just that faster than he looks ability. They wouldn't have scheduled Chiefs Broncos Monday night for Fields to play. Even if he does play, though, I still got to see what he looks like next year. Early on in September, if they're 3-1 to start the year on a hot streak, on a broke knee, was it a broken knee? That year, broken. I thought it was dislocated earlier in the season. Can you even break your knee? I think maybe. I guess your kneecap can break or dislocate your kneecap. Jason Williams, but I'm with you though, Merk, man. I'm one of the biggest Mahomes supporters. There's people that root against success, and then there's individuals that root for it. I got no issues with Mahomes. I love Mahomes and what he's. This is the face of the NFL, Merc man. But we got the Chargers where they are because they made the playoffs last year with two of the best tackles in football injured and not on the field. No, you're good, Merc man. No, you're good. I love the pushback a little bit and making me think through it. It's a thought exercise here for both of us. Nail by Bass Souls. Green Bay contenders, yeah, they are. With the defense they had a year ago, there's a question, though, about what they look like without Jeff Hafley and Micah Parsons back from injury. But even still, with Matthew Golden and Watson, I see what it's going to look like. And crash out because Ravens are where Ravens are where they should be. I mean, with Lamar and Josh Allen, both those teams are where they should be true contenders. But what I was gonna finish saying, there we got another question. We'll get back to that. Twigs, Chargers and Texans contenders. Yep, they are, and though I've got no bias whatsoever to those, but that's my prediction. Those two teams meet in the AFC title game. That's what I currently have. Plus Flanoy 100% fill into that wide receiver 2 role from Ramiro. Broncos are one of the most well-rounded teams I've seen. Travis, if you have A.J. Brown go somewhere else, they are going to put themselves in a position where they are now a top 5 receiver duo in football. Niners in third, too. You angry? From Dakota Miller. There's nothing angry, honestly, about it. We only could have, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. In each category, a maximum of 9 is where I put it in here. And just to have the graphic fit, I know that that's a dumb reason to have it, but for the graphic to fit on the screen behind me, I could only do a maximum of 9 teams on the tier, and this is where we have it. Because if you go quarterback by quarterback, you'd probably go, Purdy over C.J. Stroud? Some would go Purdy over guys like Goff or Caleb Williams or Bo Nix or Jordan Love. Again, there's a big recurring question here, folks. Well, to defend it, RAS or RAS, whatever it is. This isn't Super Bowl because I've got Denver as a Super Bowl contender. The higher category is Super Bowl or bust. This guy has the Commanders over the Giants more than enough. I mean, they were in the NFC title game 2 years ago. Right, we've seen what they're capable of when Jaden Daniels is healthy on the field, Noob San. I mean, I don't know if we can already have the Giants better than Washington when they were proving it that they can win close games against quality opponents 2 years ago. The Giants had 3 weeks where they are the most entertaining team in football, but we can't put them higher right now than Washington, and we know what Washington can be when they are at their top of their game. But New York, we haven't seen it. And I'm not saying I don't want to see it, but that's why I've got the Commanders as a team that's playoffs. I'm sorry, but until Herbert wins an actual playoff game, they should never be a contender tier. My thing for that, Adam, is, and it's a great point that you make. They got to the postseason and were very competitive for over 3 quarters. What's going on? BWG629's in the chat. What's happening? They got to the playoffs and were competitive with the team that was in the Super Bowl without their top 2 tackles. And both of them are 2 of the best in football. So that's the reasoning there. What if the Rams and Seahawks had an NFC title rematch? I can see it. No, I remember you, Brody. I got you. Playoffs from Southside. Southside 1988, Chi-Town. Got a Bears fan in the chat. It appears. Obviously, we're excited to see that. I'm always wild to see the Bears in the contender category. Jeremy, isn't a beautiful sight? And this isn't a Chicago Bears show, but anytime I see a Bears fan, I'm like, hit my stuff. Make sure that you're followed, subscribed up. We are a show that tries to stay unbiased, folks, but with the Bears, we do come out with content that is fired up when Chicago is good. So it's great to see them where they are at. I'm excited that they actually truly are in this category. But again, remember, 2019 after 2018, they were considered a contender. And the season started off with an absolute thud against the Packers on Thursday night to start the season. That game basically gave me a migraine. Yeah, R.I.P. to Kyle Busch. Yeah, hope he rests in peace. That's a terrible story. Bears taking over this year, absolutely. Man, you guys drafted Luther Burden, broke my heart. I wanted him in Kansas City so bad. Yeah, I thought they might go that direction instead of Josh Simmons. And to give credit to Josh Simmons, this was the best offensive lineman in college football in 2024 until he got hurt. His talent is higher than anybody from that class, at least. Why is Jacoby holding out? That's what I've been hearing. He's looking to get paid. I think he's looking for something close to, because he's expected to be the starter, something close to $20 million. Right? He's believing he's the starter and he deserves to be paid that category. He played enough last year. His production was there and wants to get paid. Burden going to have a breakout year. Odunze needs to step it up. I can't agree more. 10th overall pick. That guy needs to be in Pro Bowl conversations. And he's going to get 30 more targets. He's going to get 115, 120 plus targets next year. I wouldn't be surprised if he got 130 the way Caleb was targeting Rome Odunze earlier in the season. Eagles are contenders. Chargers are playoffs for John Q. That's how you'd have it. You'd flip those two. And I could see it. I could see that without a doubt with Philadelphia and who they've been. I was a big fan of their draft. I'll say that much. Purdy has slapped around the Bears, Lions, and Packers when it mattered most. Having him below them, but it's not just him. Is George Kittle the same guy? Is Fred Warner the same player? Is Nick Bosa, Michael Williams the first rounder? All of those injuries, are they the same? And that was my question about Green Bay of going into next year. It's the exact same thing, the same argument. Is Parsons, is Kraft, do they look the same? Like, are they able to retain their athletic prowess that they were before? Are they the same player? And they will all be injured. I hope not. I hope not, Merc, man. I hope not. I hope that they're able to get back to health. John Q, did I miss one from you? Okay. Yeah, Eagles are contenders. And Jacoby. John Q, Chargers have to at least get a playoff win to be contenders. Yeah, I talked about that a little bit, about with them getting there last year with the two tackles hurt. But John Q, make sure that you're following. Appreciate you being in here. Ethan, my man, what's something that you would change about this list? I'm curious, guys. Both of y'all, make sure that you follow and appreciate the love being in here in the chat. Just talking football for the next 3.5 hours. Niners are contenders and better than half the teams in the contender spot. We got GEG with Let's Go Chargers. Yep. And Southside giving some love to Justin Herbert. He sure is. If he can't get it done, though, this year, especially if they are healthy on the offensive line side, that receiving core is deep enough. I don't care if McConkey's hurt or Johnston's hurt or both of them in a tight end. It's time to win a playoff game for Herbert. Raiders, really? You'd have the Raiders and see it to believe it. Not even knowing who their starter's going to be week one. I mean, we'd assume it'll be Kirk Cousins, but going right up to that pretty quickly. The Steelers' disrespect is wild. They won the division and got better. So you're excited, I'd assume, about Ihanicher, about Jeremy Bernard, and Michael Pittman. Aaron Rodgers, we'd assume, is 95% at least of what he was at the end of last year. He just got exposed a little bit by Houston, but who didn't get exposed by Houston on the offensive side of the ball? That even the Patriots, who beat them, looked horrendous offensively against the Texans for the majority of that game. This is also, it's not just about playoffs, but it's also how you stack up with your chances to win. Are you going to tell me that you feel better about the Pittsburgh Steelers' chances to win than, I've got Baltimore up there higher than them? I would assume not. And it's tough talking about Pittsburgh negatively. I grew up being probably they were my favorite team in the AFC that I enjoyed rooting for in the AFC. Patriots run was a one season miracle, by the way. It absolutely could be. Steelers quarterback about to be collecting Social Security. I don't think he's going to need to. Aaron Rodgers signing up. What was the deal there that Aaron signed? Aaron Rodgers, $25 million? What did he sign? 22.5 this year? Enough to be 25? Yeah, it's manageable for what he is. Panthers. Thoughts on Panthers and Bengals? My thoughts are that the Bengals need a run game if we're going to take them seriously. You can't be bottom 4 in the league year in, year out. That's not how you're going to keep your quarterback upright. That's not how you're going to protect your defense. Carson, I don't have the Panthers as contenders quite yet with Bryce Young. I have to see it. Yep, a 1-year deal for Matthew Stafford. It's not a mullet, honestly. It really isn't. My hair is actually like pretty long in the front. That's not at all a mullet. This is not a mullet. Thoughts on the Panthers, though? We've got a question about are the Panthers contenders, so we'll get to this. Carolina had a huge offseason. Yeah, I saw that about Kyle Busch. Really, really sad news. One of the GOATs. With Phillips being added now, you've got this untapped ability off the edge. What is he? Is he going to be a $30 million a year caliber player? Is he going to be double-digit sacks, 16 tackles for loss? That's what you're paying him for. And that's what he was earlier in his career. Now, Devin Lloyd, they got him for a pretty reasonable contract. J.C. Horn, if he doesn't get hurt, they got a good shot to beat the Rams in that playoff game a year ago. And offensively, Monroe Freeling, I like that selection. He's got an opportunity to be a really good tackle. He's either going to be one of the worst starters at tackle in the league, or he's going to be one of the best. It doesn't seem like it's in the middle for him. What's going on, Ainsley? How you doing? Good to see our Ainsley. See you in here. We're just chatting football. Power rankings. We talked a lot of college football yesterday. I'm happy to if somebody's got some college football to get into. Rams and Hawks can't both go. Who do you think is the top contender to play one of them? Well, it's not like Super Bowl. It's Super Bowl or bust. Like Seattle just won it. They're Super Bowl or bust. The Rams, with Stafford now at this point in his career, anything but a Super Bowl title is going to be an underperforming season for them. That's where they are. If I had to pick a team to win, I would go Rams. I'd go Rams straight up, Ansley. Yeah, that's a loaded team. They got better. I would say the Rams are a better team than they were at the end of last year, which was easily one of the best 3 rosters in football. Browns over on 6.5 projected. What's going on, Taisha? Good to see you back in here. Bears shouldn't be in here from Garrison. I mean, they were not lucky in the sense that their top 5 corner in the league, Jalen Johnson, wasn't healthy for a single snap next year, and their top 5 nickel, Kyler Gordon, wasn't healthy either. They had some really bad injuries in the secondary. Everyone's going to point towards the takeaways and the close games, but a lot of that was because of the points that they gave up a lot last year and forced them into some tight battles. Yeah. Patriots, Chargers, Packers over the Eagles is hilarious. What about A.J. Brown leaving, though? That's just not gonna be a factor. It's not going to impact Philadelphia. You have the Panthers going to the playoffs. I do. That is my prediction. They also lost Blankenship. They lose Nakobe Dean. They lose Jalen Phillips. Philly's just going to be the same team. And the division is getting better. It's getting more equated at the top. Ravens 100% from Ryan McNeil is agreeing with that. But Garrison, Ansley, make sure that you guys are following Ryan with the 100%. Appreciate you being in here. Packers are going to blow your mind this year. Okay, Garrison, we'll see. We'll see what they look like. We'll see if Mike is the same guy. I wouldn't be shocked. Callan? What's up, Callan? Callan, back on in here. We're fired up to see it. Where is my brother going? I have no idea. I don't know. Someone that needs offensive linemen. Someone in the top 10 potentially. Rams versus Bengals rematch. What's going on, Lucas? Lucas, were you live already today? Did you have a good session or are you about to hop on? Aaron, 49ers better than every single team in the contenders. I would disagree a little bit with that. You're assuming that Fred Warner, Nick Bosa, George Kittle are they're all healthy next year, and your first rounder, Mykel Williams. That's what's going to be necessary for them to get into that category. I want him to go to the Lions. Okay. They did just take a tackle. You could disagree, but I'd be wrong. Wait, so do you have confirmation that all four of those guys with bad injuries last year are going to be the same? These impact players that you would need? Because in most cases, you'd say 3 of the 4 of them would be. But having all of them back to what they are, just statistically, it seems somewhat unlikely. But I don't even I'm not even talking negatively about San Francisco. Right? Like Dejon Stribling, Mike Evans coming in there. We're fired up about him. What's going on, Dom? How we doing, Dom? Just hit 273 tonight, and you should look up in Selena. Okay. So we can't just put them in contenders list or the Bengals would be there. Dom, is there anything about this list that you disagree with, that you would change? We've got Dej. Is it Dej Haven? Do we have no hope for Malik Willis? I actually do. I think the strategy for Miami is we get worse before we get better. Worst team in the league. Let's add the best player in college football in Jeremiah Smith for Malik Willis. I would not go quarterback next year. Unless you trade up somewhere into that first round or you take one a little bit later. But you're going to get a blue chipper. You're going to get a shot. Yeah, I appreciate you. Thank you. Yeah, that's where we're headed. That's what we're thinking about. Nick, liking the way I think. I appreciate that thought. Nick, make sure you're following. Dom, make sure that you're following. Appreciate you guys. What do we have? Colts are going to be 1,000% contenders. What have we seen from Bryce Young for them not to be? Well, he played pretty well down the stretch of that game against the Rams. Not on the final drive. I think it was, 4 straight incompletions. That first matchup, he had his best game of his career against the Rams at home. Where do I want to see him go? I would say I want to see him go to a good team. I'd say the Buffalo Bills. Taisha, that's where I'd have him. Eagles fans are delusional. I mean, it's just too bad it didn't work out with A.J. Brown. Top 5 receiver in the league when he's on his game. 8-2 in my Madden Online head-to-head. I was the Jacksonville Jaguars. Person called, dang. People are still going after the moms on the Madden live chats, huh? From GPG, which I assume is for Go Pack, saying the Bears are not going to make the playoffs next year. So where would the regression come? Do you think it's Caleb is not good from GPG? Is it defensively? They had a ton of turnovers last year. And neither are the Bills. The Bills are Josh Allen. He may choke in the playoffs, but they've gotten to the divisional round 6 years in a row. And I think a lot of teams on this list would be quite happy with getting the divisional round 6 years in a row. But if you do get to the divisional round that many years in a row, you got to win. You got to get yourself in the Super Bowl. And the last few years have been very rough for me. From Maxi H. Alexander Jeremiah Smith to the Dolphins, we have got a very smart person in the chat. Maxi, make sure that you're following. If you like Jeremiah Smith content, there's a lot of it here. We've already started taking a early look at the 2027 NFL draft, and obviously at the top of all of it is the most talented player in the country and who I believe will be the best receiver in football in 3 seasons. That quickly of an integration into the league. I mean, Jamar Chase's first year in the league, he went off. So I don't see why it can't for Smith. The only hope there is that in Miami, that they're able to protect Willis. And that's what you like about Caden Proctor. They have an offensive lineman that they go with if they were to go Smith with that first pick. And bringing him back to the 305 sure makes sense. I know it's off topic, but who do I think wins, Thunder versus Spurs? I'm going to go OKC. I know Wembanyama is unbelievable, but it looks like they do have a plan to shut him down. And offensively, they're just ridiculous. They're insane. Their bench is better than most teams. I hope Arch Manning doesn't do too good and get drafted to the Jets from CD. So CDN, are you a Texas fan? I'm curious about where that thought process lies in. Why you don't want Arch. From F it all, what do you not like about the list? What would you change? I'm just trying to get better here, folks, and understand the sentiment. You can disagree. I've got no issues with disagreement. I mean, opinion's your opinion. That's the way you see things. Some people see colors legitimately differently than others do. That's what power rankings are. But we're here to have a conversation and debate and have a thought exercise. From Busyness, the Bears. Why do we say Chicago's not a contender? Are you not confident in Caleb? Are you not confident in Ben Johnson? Are you not confident in their defensive line getting to the quarterback? From Mr. Unlimited, the Bears are too high. One season doesn't make up for a while of being bad. The only thing that I would push back on that is they've never had a quarterback within the stratosphere remotely close to Caleb there. And I think a lot of people would agree. When Caleb Williams plays your favorite team, are you settled in your chair? Are you cool? You got your drink and you're just chilling? There's nothing at all that stresses you out? I don't know. I don't know if most people would say that. I gotta be honest. Let's see here. D'Angelo Del Forno. Good day. Did I miss one of your comments, D'Angelo? I'm sorry. As a Packers fan, Bears are kind of neck and neck when we are injured. And it's a good point. When Green Bay was hurt last year, it was a couple of comebacks from Chicago. Looked like they were going to lose that first matchup. Obviously looked like they were going down in the second one. You seem like a good dude no matter how wrong you are about the 49ers. I appreciate that, Aaron. Thank you. I appreciate that thought. Aaron and Black At and Fulton, guys, make sure that you're following. I appreciate that perspective. That's what I honestly hope is people coming in here, they listen to the chat a little bit more, have a conversation, and I can have a different ranking than you like. That always happens here. But the main idea is that we're just talking football, and it's a community. I know that you guys love this sport, and you're passionate. This is a place where we can all go talk about it. We always see saying Ravens going to be good, then they don't do a thing. I mean, a top 3 rushing offense for about a decade now. And with Baltimore, it's Lamar in the bigger games. People have an answer for him for a lot of the time. When he is healthy, that is taking away Lamar's legs. You take away his legs, you keep him in the pocket, and force it away from his number one target. My favorite team is Spartak Moscow from Maria Zakharov. I don't know, but good to have you in here. Thank you for the feedback. Same with Josh Allen from Aaron. I'm sorry, I missed your comment, Aaron. Herbert wins MVP. That's my prediction next year. I've got Herbert winning MVP. I don't know if it's a joke, but that's actually my hot take for next year. With a from Mr. Unlimited 077, I just think the Bears will regress because of too many close wins. I would say that that's a very good argument. Mr. Unlimited. A lot of close wins. From Fulton to Herbert is too much of an if man. You look like Josh Allen with a southern touch. I don't know if Josh Allen's actually from Fresno. And I'm from a little bit south of Fresno. I'm from Los Angeles. I'm from the South Bay. So I've gotten the Josh Allen comp every single live for a year now. We've heard the Josh Allen comparison of us looking a little bit similar. And in person, it sometimes I get that double take, and they're like, okay, because I'm 6'4", about 215 pounds, and so people are like, is it? And then they get a little bit excited, and they're like, no, it's not. So it's kind of funny. From Marvin, who's gonna win the 27th Super Bowl? Marvin from Nagy. What did you say? And then not a Chargers fan, but McDaniel made Tua look good from Aaron. It's a good point. And now you've got the deepest receiving core in the league with, my goodness, McConkey, Johnston. Are they bringing Keenan Allen back? And what about Trey Harris? And now they have Brennan Thompson and the two tight ends, Njoku and Gadsden. No, they're loaded here. Especially since Stafford is in his last season, he'll play for that MVP race. From Fulton. The extension or the 1 year signing for him means he's gonna very likely play 2 more years. That's what I gathered from that. Like if you go to the cap space and you look at it, the 1 year signing. So this year he's a $48 million cap hit. And then I don't even know what. I think he's playing 2 more years. I believe it's 2 more years. What makes the Bengals better than 6-10? A healthy Burrow. We had a comment in here about if Justin Herbert, if this, if that. It's the same thing with them. If we have a healthy Joe Burrow, that's why I've got them in playoffs. From this is Texans are Super Bowl contenders. I agree with you. I've got the Texans going to the Super Bowl. This is one. We're of the same opinion on that. I love defense. I grew up on defense. Big Ten football, not great quarterback play, and Will Anderson Jr. is my Defensive Player of the Year pick next year. And here in Los Angeles, I'm not a USC fan, but I know about Kamari Ramsey. I know about Caden McDonald. I know about Kalen Bullock. There's a lot of talent there. Not even to mention, obviously, that is the best cornerback duo in football. From Alex, Detroit is just horrible when it comes to playoffs. They got to get back to the playoffs, there's no doubt. Maria Zakharov, Summertime Sadness will be the number 1 song of the summer. Could be. Then you should love, I do love Denver's defense. That's why they're a Super Bowl contender next year. They've led the NFL in sacks the last 2 seasons, right? Cooper Rush showed that the Cowboys roster really can't have just any quarterback. Yeah, that was funny. And there's a large mass of people that thought Andy Dalton or Cooper Rush were gonna put the Cowboys into a category where they'd be a playoff team, like just as good as Dak, and it looked very quickly like that was not gonna happen. Well, Dak is better than these average low tier mid quarterbacks. Jeff, what would you change about the list, Jeff, when you take a look at it? Chargers should have top 3 offense in the NFL next year from 1. I've got Justin Herbert winning MVP. I just said it a little bit ago, and I'm going to keep saying it, folks, so I apologize already. Mike McDaniel coming in there, and your 2 offensive tackles staying healthy that are 2 of the best in football. That receiving core is so deep, and Amarion Hampton at back. They're unbelievable. Jeff, come on, bro. And with what? With what exactly, Jeff? I don't know what you're referring to. It's very tough for me to do anything with that comment unless I have some direction to defend or go with and have a conversation there. I think the Packers should be in the playoffs, Carter. That is my prediction. I've got Green Bay going 10-7 and grabbing a wild card spot next year. I think Cam Ward will have a top 12 quarterback season this year from Fulton. Carter, KG833. All you guys, make sure that you're following. I appreciate y'all for being in here and just chatting. But yeah, Carnell Tate, Wandale. I also like A.O. Manor, Nicholas Singleton. One of my absolute steals and picks of the draft. If he would have participated, I know he was at the Senior Bowl and then dipped out, but if he would have been at the Combine and he ran his 4.37 he was supposed to run, catching the ball, he's very good out of the backfield. Man, and then Keldrick Falk, they trade up to grab this kid at 31, who I had at 15, 16 on my big board. Anthony Hill Jr. I had in my top 25 on my big board, and they get him at, what was it? Was it 58? It was way down there. From Michael Thompson, why are the Ravens contenders? They fold every year. Look, Lamar is dynamic. And guys, do you know who leads the NFL in, well, he's been top 2 in the NFL in rushing yards 4 straight years. Derrick Henry. He's 32 years old. He is currently 10th all-time in rushing yards. By the way, 3 of the 4 NFC North teams are contenders. Yeah, Gavin, I was very aware making that. The NFC North is absolutely freaking loaded and stacked with talent. It is ridiculous. And Minnesota is not a bad team. It doesn't stop there, Michael, though. Matabike was hurt last year, so that's why they struggled against the run. They just brought in the kid out of Missouri, Zion Young. Do you watch a bit of SEC football? I don't know what the knowledge is there, Michael. Do you know Zion Young? Do you know about Damon Wilson? And do you know about these guys? I don't know if you know about Tariano Pride and Jeremiah Trotter and that defense, Chris McClellan on the interior. Like, if you know about that. That was one of the best defenses in college football, and they did not get much attention once they lost to Alabama in October. That was a good game. I mean, Ahmad Hardy, prayers for Ahmad Hardy. He just got shot at a concert. Awful. But that moved him on me in my list. We had to be ever evolving. You went from running back 1 to 3 because he got shot. Nobody in the AFC is Samaje. I gotta disagree with you there, respectfully. The Texans' defense is by itself, like, they could have abysmal offense and they're still a playoff team. I think a lot of people would agree with that. If they're awful, they're still 10-7. From Ryan, would you rather have the Dolphins go 12-5, lose in the wild card round, or you know what I'm going to say next? I am from Jim. Well, that good for you. It's good to work out and move the body a lot. I got to swim. What did I swim? 70 laps in the pool this morning. Get a flow in. Tomorrow the plan is to do 80. We're trying to go up another 10 every day. Ryan, don't do that. Hope is coming. Hope is on the way. Jeremiah Smith could be coming back to the 305. From Nolan, I love the Bills. I mean, 6 straight years to the divisional round. Huh? James Cook led the league in rushing yards. They bring in DJ Moore. I'm expecting him to have a 2023 kind of season. In fact, I love what they have. I'm going to need you to move the Chargers up after we sign. You don't need Debo. The Chargers don't need Debo. They don't need him. I know what you mean, a Moose's cat. But I don't know what the ceiling is. The ceiling move higher with Debo? Is the floor higher there? We gonna miss DJ absolutely. Southside, we're gonna miss him. But as the way the business goes, could you pay a guy $28 million that had 600 yards last year? No, you can't do that. Luther Burden, Odunze Loveland, that's where the direction of this team is headed towards the future. You can't. Congratulations, nation. I appreciate you. Thank you. And make sure that you're following. Thank you for being in here, showing love. It's man, it's been so much fun to chat ball the last couple of weeks surrounding the draft, and then after that you have the schedule release. And now we can talk about games. We have games to talk about, and we're starting to get this involved. We've got Joe Mama, Ian Lowry in the chat. What's 12-5? What do we have here as a prediction? And Cowboys did ball out in the chat. Yeah, they did. Caleb Downs at 11, Barham in the third round. We're excited about Malachi Lawrence and Barham. One of my hot takes is I feel that Barham will wind up being a more impactful player as a Cowboy than first round pick. What was he? 23rd overall, Malachi Lawrence. From Eagles fan, I say Eagles 11-6. My prediction was 10-7. They still win the NFC East, but right in that area. Yep. What's funny is the Eagles right now have the best receiving core in a long time. Let's just say that. With Mekhi Lemon, Devontae Smith, and A.J. Brown, they are ridiculous, but when Brown leaves, obviously, it's going to go from number one to, like, it could still be in the top 10. We'll see what Mekhi Lemon looks like. Yeah, Mekhi Lemon if we keep A.J., but Eli Stowers, I consider this guy to be more of like a weapon X kind of category as opposed to literally just a tight end. What do we got here? Undrafted free agents. What do we got? Rookie camps, voluntary workout. What is the... I agree the Steelers are either a make or break this year. There's no in between. There simply isn't with Aaron Rodgers back. And... do you guys remember Jordy Nelson? We got some ball knowers in here that knew about Jordy Nelson. He was always talked about really just like overlooked, right? He was taken out of Kansas State. Yeah, just all the football things that have been happening. Oh, just topics that you want to go over? I don't know. I didn't really see the question there, my guy. But no, I got you. Yeah, just talking about what's been happening. Yep. So Jordan Nelson, well, I was gonna go with that. Got to get back on track. He's very similar to Jeremy Bernard. You look at their height, their weight, what they ran. Jeremy Bernard's a little bit smaller. He's got a little bit more shift and start, but that's not Jeremy's game. He's just sit in the hole kind of guy. Get the football in his hands, he's gonna catch it. He's got incredible contact balance. He's not a burst home run hitter with the ball, like throw a screen to him. He's going to take off and go. But with Jeremy and Aaron, I think that there's a very good connection there. I've got to take that he's going to be the leading receiver for the Steelers as a rookie this year, or be right up there with Metcalf. You see the draft schedule? Yeah, I got you. Algorithm things. Absolutely. Yeah, I'll send you a follow. Congratulations. Nathan, and try and check out a little bit of your content. Do you think Trent McDuffie trade? I do. 30th overall pick, a third rounder in there. Like what? But I know we're paying him 31 million. But you bring in a top 5 corner in the league that can play sticky coverage, that can go one-on-one. Mike Evans is a little bit of a mismatch with anybody, obviously. But Jackson Smith and Jigba, you're playing him twice. You might be playing him 3 times a year on average. I mean, not on average, but let's say in the next 6 years you meet Seattle 2 more times in the playoffs. It's worth bringing him in. 49ers, a contender at least. And with San Francisco, I just hope it doesn't happen, but I've been thinking like we could get Bosa back and Warner, obviously the guys that were hurt last year. And then you wind up seeing Christian McCaffrey go down. I hope it doesn't happen. I'm sorry for even putting it in the universe. But when he's not healthy, it changes what they look like. Push the Eagles up, but what am I doing? Yeah, I know Eagles in here on YouTube, Eagles fan productions is like, I absolutely should be. But the realism of Eagles fan is just knowing ball and seeing this over a long time. Like when you lose that type of a playmaker, and what they're losing in Brown, and you lose Blankenship, and you lose Phillips, and Dean, and Johnson is getting older. It's tough to confidently have them at that contending category solidified wise. Rams to the bowl from Trey. A Super Bowl or bust is what we have them here. It's not like my two Super Bowl teams. It's actually my teams were their fans. Guys, that's what it is. Super Bowl or bust is what they are this year. If the Rams don't win the Super Bowl, it's a failed season for them. Same thing with Seattle. You just won the Super Bowl. What do I think about the Carolina Panthers linebacker? Are you talking about Devin Lloyd? I don't know if I couldn't see the rest of that question. Am I Mark Sanchez? I've been trying to get. I haven't yet made the move, but I've been thinking that in the next year or so that I'm gonna reach out to Mark and get him on my show and talk football with him. Just he was so good behind the mic and having different ways to talk about things. I look like him. I hear a lot of Josh Allen comes up a lot in this. Super Bowl or bust, and they busted. They sure did bust last year. From Ashton, 49ers Super Bowl. They were there a few years ago. Go back to hockey? I won't be doing that. Football is my favorite thing in the world. We're going to keep talking about it every single day for a very long time. Please put Pittsburgh up a few rows from Welders. Not cool. I got to see it. I got to see what Rodgers looks like again this year. I need to see that run game, that defense that they're paying all that money to. My hometown team is the Bears and the Ohio State Buckeyes. Typical hate, but Kansas City is getting back to the top. No, there's no hate here, Steven. I'm the opposite of a Chiefs hater. I have been at the forefront of the Mahomes respect movement and giving him the respect that he deserves. I simply just don't know what he's going to be moving around. I know that he's been throwing, but what is he when he takes a hit to the knee, right? What is he extending plays? On third down, you got to have it. Does he still have that ability to go pick those up? It's a question. But I appreciate you. We got Steven, Ben, JSTOG, Fire Mage. All you guys, make sure that you're following. Appreciate y'all being in here. Just talking football on a Thursday night. We're going to be here for another couple of hours, just chatting ball. From Ben, Cowboys are not yet, Ben. Not yet. We got to see what they look like. They beat the Giants week 1, and they can beat Green Bay. That game's, I think, at Lambeau, correct? On Sunday night, earlier in the season. They've got some opportunities to prove themselves. I want to see what they look like. From Pokemon, Packers Super Bowl. They got a lot to get back healthy. They got a lot to bring back next year to get there. From Camden, like on the sentiment of the Packers, I had the Packers as number 1 in football after the first 2 weeks. How could you not? The way that defense looked in Jordan Love, precise Josh Jacobs here, they looked incredible with what they did in Detroit and Washington. And they lose to the Browns. And then later on in the year, they look like the best team in football when they're up 9 on the road against the Denver Broncos. And then Love throws that interception. Pat Surtain undercuts it. And Micah Parsons gets hurt a couple minutes later, and their season kind of ends. Like, at least they're ceiling of being a Super Bowl contender. Crying real tears seeing the Bears in the contending tier from Stone Burger. Does that mean we got a Chicago Bears fan in ya? From Stoneburger, seeing the Bears actually as a contender this year. It is quite the sight, I know. Da Bears fan from Hawaii. You're looking at a diehard Bears fan, myself. Born and raised, and I'm out here in Los Angeles. Um, Made that flight out to see him in the divisional round game against the Rams. It was one of the more magical days. I know that it ended poorly, but it was still an unbelievable snow game in the playoffs. So my guy, my Stoneburger, my guy, make sure that you're following. And Da Bears fan from Hawaii, you got to make sure that you're sub, man. I got to have you guys supporting throughout the season. Do I think Luther Burden can be a wide receiver one for Chicago? Without a doubt. The guy's stop-start reminds me a lot of Devin Hester. He's a better route runner, a better receiver than he ever will be. I think we could use AJ on the Commanders. There's no way Howie Roseman's doing that. There's no way Howie Roseman is sending him to the same division. One can hope. Washington fans can hope. I know that you're looking for another receiver. The Commanders, though, let's say they don't have a great season next year and they pick 11th. What if you give up a haul and you go get Cam Coleman, or Jeremiah Smith, and you add him? Now you got McLaurin, Antonio Williams, and Coleman or Jeremiah Smith in there. Now Washington is a freaking scary team. Vikings are better than 5 teams ranked. I don't know who you would go with there. Maybe Washington, maybe the Jags, Colts, maybe the Bengals, Panthers. If we get Terry, then I call that a fair trade. No, that's not a fair trade. That's not a fair trade. AJ for Terry. Terry McLaurin he should be in conversations for top 12 receiver in the league. But AJ Brown has been a top 5 guy. I can't see this. It's not happening. How he's not. He knows what AJ is. He knows what he is. Have I seen the Browns? How you see Browns doing this year from Preston? It took me a second to see that question there. I got the Browns going 6-11 this year, and they'll have an opportunity to evaluate. They're in a win-win situation. Either the season goes horrible and we get our quarterback, Dante Moore, Arch Manning, Lenore, whoever that guy is. Or it goes well and Watson looks good and you're competing for a playoff spot. All right, now we can bring in an edge defender opposite of Miles. Or we can go get another shutdown guy in the secondary. There's going to be an opportunity there for the Cleveland Browns if the season goes very poorly in the 2027, this generational draft, which it absolutely is. If you guys love football content, this is it. We've already started covering the 2027 draft extensively right now for them. So please make sure that you're following, that you're subscribed. There's a lot of names that we're going to be talking about over the next half a year, next year overall, that are going to be game changers in the league very quickly. Within their first year, they're going to be true impact players. There's about half a dozen blue chips in that draft instead of only about 2 that you had this year. There might even be 8. How about the Fins? The Fins are not in a win-win mode to me. I think that the Dolphins need to stay bad. They need to be bad before they get better. It's what's talked about a lot. The Houston Texans did it. The New England Patriots obviously were bad. Got a franchise quarterback. And they took off. The Texans got their quarterback. They added Will Anderson Jr., who is my Defensive Player of the Year pick this year, and they're off to the races. The Chicago Bears, last example here, they trade for the haul. They get a great quarterback that could be an MVP candidate coming up here soon, and boom, they're a playoff team within 2 years and now a contender. So for Miami, I think it looks like you – in the 2027 draft, let's say you're 5-12 and you pick 7th overall, Colin Simmons, Dylan Stewart, if you're picking up higher, you could go quarterback. I preferably would like to see them go with a blue chip playmaker talent, someone like number 4 at Ohio State, Jeremiah Smith. Add a weapon to that offense and see in the 2 years. You're paying Malik all that money, Let's give him 2 years and actually talent around him. It's kind of like what the Browns did this year. It's like, okay, we drafted Shador. We did not have weapons. Our offensive line was terrible. How can we evaluate this guy? But now with Concepcion and with obviously Denzel Boston, Spencer Fana, and these guys that you bring in, you can have a true evaluation. Let's bring out the laptop. Let's bring out the clipboard for the Cleveland Browns front office and what they can do. And that's what Miami, I believe, will be doing a year from now with Malik Willis. I think taking a quarterback next year, especially in the top 5, top 10, would be ultimately a mistake for them. That's what they got to do. Because you need weapons to compete in that division. Obviously, you're going to need a quarterback to compete with Josh Allen and with Drake May. So they have to add premier talent. And premier talent for the Finns would be Jeremiah Smith. As Buckeye Nation joins in, of course he does, right as we're talking about Jeremiah Smith going to the Dolphins, would be the best thing for Miami long term. So Tristan, that is an agreement that we both have. Buckeye Nation, give a name that people haven't heard about Ohio State, that you feel is going to be an impact player. Is it El Grillo getting a spot with the team and him out competing and gets in there over Pierce or gets in there instead of Pettijohn? Is it one of the young wide receivers that gets a place in here? How do I feel about the Chicago Bears next year? I put them in at 10-7, and for the 11-6, 10-7 is the hinge of what I've got them for. That's where we're currently at. That's where I'm at on Chicago right now. When you're bringing back what they have on defense in Gordon and Johnson, who weren't healthy for a single snap next year, where they could turn and run full speed. Zion Grady, that's a good call out. I like that. I like that one. Zion Grady right there on defense. I think he's put in right there over like Edric Houston, or what's his name, like Tyler Atkinson in the depth chart right now, as far as what it looks like for Grady. Where's Grady gonna play? Is he gonna stay? Like what's his position gonna be next year? Is he gonna be on the inside edge? Bro has Panthers above the Saints. I mean, they won the division. They won their division for the third time, to say it, to make sure that we understand. And their defense was a top 10 unit. The Seahawks may not be Super Bowl favorites, you or I, but this isn't Super Bowl, like, they are, by the way. Their fans would be disappointed if they did not get to the Super Bowl again next year. Let's get that straight. That's what the expectation is. From Buckeye Nation, I don't think Jeremiah Smith should be going to the Dolphins. In the sense of what could be the best for his career, maybe not Miami, but he goes back to the 305. The guy's from Miami and gets an opportunity to get statues built around the entire nation. They're not. We're way better. Look at how much they've fallen off. Where's the Super Bowl MVP? Who's your team? Are you a Chiefs fan? Are you a Rams fan? I don't know what the squad is there. From Harry Boy, Harry O, YouTube. But bro, I feel like the Steelers would be good for next year. And then we've got, what do we got here? We've got Aaron Murphy is just trolling away. Aaron, I appreciate the trolling. I got to be honest. I got no issues with the trolling. No issues with it. Who cares? Clearly don't know ball, but love this. From Finn in. What did we say? Why are the Titans in See It to Believe It? It's a great question for Tennessee. Well, I got to see Cam Ward build off of last year. Now you've got Cornell Tate, and you've got Wan'Dale Robinson. You add in Singleton. And on defense, there are guys that they brought in, like Falk and Anthony Hill, that you're going to be a better team next year. The division's tough. We all know that division's brutal. But Cam Ward has the opportunity to go out there and win 7 games. Anything less than 7 games would not be a good year for him. So, Colts are something. So that's why the Titans are in seat to believe it. Like, I mean in the rebuilding category. Why are they not in that category? That's why. I have to see what they look like. From URI, the Rams. Yeah, the Rams are my pick to win the Super Bowl next year. So make sure that you're following Uri, my guy. Congratulations, Nation. Who else is in here? Call me Psychit. Patrick Little. What's going on, Patrick? So I'm curious, Patrick. Who's somebody on here? I'll specifically just call it out. Give me your rookies of the year next year, Patrick. Give me your rookies of the year, Pat. Defense, offense, who do you got? Who are you looking forward to seeing next year? Caleb Downs, Shadarian Price. What's the verdict there that you're looking at right now? Steph Curry, Jordan Tyson. I love Jordan Tyson. I had him even as a Buckeye fan, I had him as my top wide receiver in this class, just the top end ability. And Cornell Tate is unbelievable too, so it was tough to put him in that category, just a spot above him. But I think Cornell Tate's going to wind up with more touchdowns potentially in the career. I just got to see Jordan Tyson stay healthy for the long term. From Sloth 538, what about LeBron? Yeah, I mean, people call Jeremiah Smith the LeBron of basketball, right? Of football, excuse me. Pretty accurate, but I have the Bengals as contenders from 2-9-7. Guilford, okay. I can see it. No Dolphins in playoffs is crazy. From 2 on top, we've been talking about it the entire way. That what would be better for the Dolphins is to add a Dylan Stewart, a Colin Simmons, a Smith to their team for 2 on top. That's been our thought of what would be the best for them. From 1, yep, you know it, MVP Herbert, DPOY Will Anderson. That's been the prediction for us for quite some time now, and I'm feeling good about those picks. Please explain the Eagles. Well, they did lose a lot. What's going on, Taisha? Good to have you back on in here. They lost a lot. Philadelphia's looking like they're going to lose their number 1 receiver, who's top 5 in the league. We got to start there. And just getting the charger in. Sorry about that, folks. And losing Phillips, losing Dean. Smitty better than A.J. Brown? I mean, I love Devontae Smith, I think, is the toughest player in the NFL. What does he weigh? Every bit of 180 pounds? Like, max 185 and putting on some weight. But Tua could even beat Dylan Gabriel and the Browns, who lost by 30 points or something. I have the Philadelphia Eagles as a battler next year, like 10-7 record. I just don't see that ceiling being what they've been in the past, of being at that level. Offensive line wise, it looks like you're gonna have to get the right side of that O-line solidified. They obviously didn't want Honicher. They decided to move up for Mekhi Lemon. Smitty gets the wind knocked out of him on every tackle. That's exactly why I got him tough. Like, I will take Devontae Smith over Ryan Williams every single day of the week because of that toughness, the willingness to get the wind knocked out of him. But because he gets back up. From Connor Gordon, Giants higher ? You're saying that the Giants should be higher, I assume? They said Smitty put some pounds. I know that they say, but still looking at him wise, like, max 185. I mean, he looked like he was, 165 coming out of Bama? Call me Gio. You know it. With the Chargers being contenders next year. We've been all over it. We've been all over that. And then it's up to Herbert. It's up to him in the playoffs. And it's all a go in how he performs at that stage. He's got to get a playoff win next year. There's no more excuses. Nothing else is acceptable now. From Blaine, I'll wait years just to see the Broncos win. We got Bible count with Daily 1. Yeah, the Saints. I mean, being there in that see it to believe it category, without a doubt. I like what they did in the offseason. So far at this point, it's going to be tough for them with DeMario Davis and Cam Jordan, like being the culture guys, being the tone setters in their locker room. They're captains. They're guys that set the identity defensively. So losing that is going to take a little bit to replace, but see it to believe it. What do you got in Tyler Shuck? You've got weapons now, adding Oscar Delp and Jordan Tyson. From Cal and Freddie, the Seahawks are going to sell. Sell? They're going to sell? You think they're going to take a big step back? Is that what we're feeling for next year? From Dwayne, I agree with what did Thomas say? From Thanks Steve. Chargers should be higher. It's their year. But what I was saying about that, Dwayne and Thomas, like, they're contenders, but Super Bowl or bust, like, I don't think any of their fan base would be disappointed, like, if they lost in the Super Bowl. Obviously, for the short term, you'd be devastated losing in the Super Bowl. But looking back, it's like, oh my goodness, we just had a heck of a season. Or even getting to the AFC title, it's like, okay, we can take a deep breath with Herbert. We know that he can win. In big games, he can deliver for us. We can get there. We know what it looks like. We've got faith in our coach in Harbaugh. We've got faith in Herbert. So that's why you can't put the Chargers quite in Super Bowl or bust. Didn't the Seahawks win the Super Bowl on your field and with the Rams? Move the Niners up a tier into the contender category. We'd have to move somebody down. Who would you move down? Chicago? You beat Chicago last year? Is that who you would put in? From Thomas, I see them at 15-12. I've got them getting to the AFC title. That's been my prediction. And I've said it, Herbert being the MVP. From Jay, yeah, Chicago, I mean, you beat them, right, last year. Both of them had injuries. San Francisco is more significantly. So I got you there. But Yuri, Jay, Cams, Diz, what's going on? Or DeLuzak, what's going on, guys? Great to have everybody in here. But look, what did I see? From Harrison, Titans should be moved up, at least. Yeah, the projection here is looking good. It's looking great. I think Stafford, without a doubt, can win back-to-back MVPs. But Rodgers did it 5 years ago. What do we got here? Ben Johnson is a Hall of Fame coach. We good. Yep. Very excited about what Chicago is going to look like for next year. Let's see, but like I said, Rams with a genuine secondary with Forbes and Lake, and now with McDuffie and up front. Are you kidding me? It's as good as it gets. Byron Young, Jared Verse at edge. It's a top 5 duo in the league. I'm curious about what they're gonna do. What would you do, Uri? Or you are? Would you sign Verse? Do you think you can sign Verse and Braden Fisk and Byron Young, like at some point, that money as well as Nakua, I just don't know. Somebody it feels like is going to have to be traded, right? Because I love Verse. Man, was he a steal? He's the 19th overall pick? Or what was he, 17th in the 2024 NFL draft? If the Raiders were rebuilding, they would have, or wait, what did we say? Do you not think Cowboys have the better defense? Better defense than who? Than who over them? Not exactly sure there. All right, guys. I just got some very bad news about my girlfriend's dad, folks. So I have to give her a call. I think we're gonna pause the live here for a second. There's a pretty serious situation. I just got a text from my girlfriend's dad. So we're gonna be back on here. I'm gonna mute the live if I can have that. Yeah, I'm gonna mute my microphone, and then I'm gonna mute on YouTube. Okay, yeah. So she did not answer, but we're gonna try and just chat ball. Can you guys hear me? Okay? Are we back on here? I apologize for the disruption, but it was necessary to do so. Leo Hernandez, Green Bay, heck nah, only team that got worse. So we're assuming that with the Packers, like got worse because he didn't have a first round pick, or the Packers didn't have a first round pick, and they lose Dobbs, they lose Dontavian Wicks. That there's going to be a little bit of a setback there with what they have capability wise on offense, and then Tucker Kraft back from injury, and all of those playmakers. Not just Kraft as a playmaker back from injury, and then offensive line looks like it'll be weaker than it was a year ago, but I think Green Bay out of Chris McClellan or Denai Dennis Sutton, one of those guys is going to wind up turning into. Yep. Rashawn Gary was another big one, Southside Chicago. Yep, it was. From user 5870. Yep, Leo, exactly. Yep, Rashawn Gary. But Leo, user's a big Bears fan. It seems like coming in here with the Bears winning it all comment. It would take. What would it take for the Bears to win the Super Bowl? To cover this quite quickly, it would be a pass rush that can get to the quarterback on third down, which would start with a run defense that is top 6 in the league. They would need to be very good. That means a healthy Grady Jarrett. That means Dylan Thieneman comes down like a freaking hammer and doesn't miss tackles. Kobe Bryant steps into his role. And then Austin Booker. It's Shamar Turner. It's Montez Sweat. It's a rotation of all these guys at a high level, and you need a motivated Dio. It's been one of the jokes of the offseason, but it's true. You went out and signed the guy to $19 million a season. you need to have production from him. You have to with Odengbo. So them and then Jalen Johnson, Kyler Gordon, you have to stay healthy defensively. That's where it starts. And if you can't do any of that, you don't even need to talk about the offense. From user, Dio will be motivated. If he is, then you're looking at something. But my guy, user, Drippy, without a doubt, make sure that you're following user, Drippy, Nightcrawler. All you guys, make sure that you're following Leo. Appreciate everybody for being in chat. We're just chatting football, power rankings. If questions come up about college football, we'll get into those. From Asher, Niners playoffs next year. Comments about them. I think that they should make the playoffs. I've got them going 10-7. The Jets, my prediction is 5-12 for next year. I know that schedule has been deemed not crazy difficult. Personally, I've got a little bit of a different opinion on what that looks like so far for New York. If we take a quick glance at the Jets schedule, you'll see that at the high end, it looks like 6-11 for them. I know, but yeah, gave not a lot of hope. South side from Mason Timmons. Yeah, not bad, especially when the Jets are looking more so towards 28. That's their year. The 2028 season's like, all right, that's when we win the division. So how do we build on a 2026 year that doesn't go well? Well, if you're able to add talent in next year's draft, well, it's more so respect, Mac. I got no reason to give Green Bay and Detroit credit besides just them being very good football teams, Mac. They're just very good. Detroit, I've got winning the division out of all of them. What's Cornell Tate's future look like with the Titans? I think he can turn into a top 10 receiver in football. Hasn't ever been number one. You play behind Jeremiah Smith for 2 years and Marvin Harrison Jr. at Ohio State, that's what it'll look like. So for Cornell, volume, immediately, he could see 130 targets this year, and I hope he does. And to me, I don't know if he's ever a 1,300 a year, 12 touchdown guy, but he could be a 10, 50, and 8. I think he's going to wind up with the most touchdowns and yards of that class. We've got no South with my Saints. Our division's bad, so I get it from Mac. Yeah, I mean, that is the weakest division in football. If we were to simply just go through them really quick. Like, the West is loaded, the North is loaded, the East is getting less talented at the top and then impressive down a bit lower. Keldrick Falk, I actually love Anthony Hill Jr. I had him in the top 25 on my board, and seeing him that late in the second round, are you kidding me? With his 17 sacks in college, 31.5 tackles for loss, and he had more tackles than Sonny Styles did in Styles' career. And you're getting that at, what was it, 60th overall? Or 62nd? It was late in that second round. You already bought an Anthony Hill Jr. jersey? I would too if I were a Titans fan. From Rita, Adriana, go Hawks. Yep, they are going to be very good next year. And Nicky Manwari's going to be turning into one of the best corner defensive backs in football, coming down at safety. Highly athletic. Jadarian Price, if you didn't watch a lot of Jadarian Price, I get it, because you probably know the name Jeremiah Love a lot better. We're excited about it, Rita. But Rita, Squeeze, make sure that you guys are following. Trey, my guy Mac, appreciate all you guys for being in here. Good list, bro. No big disagreements from Russell Clay. If you got anything remotely, though, that you would change, make sure to let me know. Make sure to let me know if there's something specifically that you disagree a little bit on. Hawks play 10 playoff team games. Excited to, yep. It's a tough schedule right off the bat. And prime time, you're going to see how good Seattle is if they can run that back. Is it true that the Titans will go 8-9? That's high for me. I mean, starting off in the division, I've got them going probably 2-4. Someone potentially sweeps them, right? Like the Texans or the Jags, and then you split the other ones. That's how you'd get to 2-4. And the rest of the schedule with the Titans, I mean, we can go through it for a second here really quickly. They start off the year with the Jets, which is a winnable game, but then Philly, the Giants, Baltimore, Houston, Indy. They also got Cleveland. I'm projecting 7-10 for the Titans next year. A Dolphins fan, honestly, what do we got here? I honestly think we can go 6-11. Yeah, 6-11 would put you what at somewhere 8, 9, 10 in the draft order, which is Cam Coleman range, right? That's that exact range that you'd be in to get Cam Coleman from Tucker Trigg. Saints should be in the playoffs. Well, it's the division to make it happen, right, Tucker? Weakest in football. You add a very talented wideout that's going to make Olave even better, get him more opportunities. And you bring in Achane from the Jaguars, weakening their team. Oscar Delp. But what I've said, and I went into at length, so I apologize, guys, if you heard me talk about it, but Cam Jordan and Demario Davis. When you lose those kinds of caliber players, there's an identity. There's a culture shock in your locker room, especially with a young head coach and more. Like, some combination of guys are going to have to take that mantle and rise up and become leaders in the new face of what they are defensively. And they even had a very good defense last year with them there. So I think that there's a regression coming on defense, and it's going to take a draft or two to get back. They're a team that I have projected to take Colin Simmons in the or Dylan Stewart in the 27 draft. The Jets defense is going to be crazy. Basically, they drafted a whole defense from the draft. I'm still down on them. I don't love what they got opposite of D'Angelo Pines. They do have, right, Demario Davis. They got Minka in the back end, and David Bailey. They're going to be an enticing team. Fascinating to see what they look like. From Ed Will, Raiders should be in see it to believe it. They're always rebuilt with this year's draft. With this year's draft, you'd have the Raiders already up higher. I just don't know who the starting quarterback is going to be. Okay, Ed Will, they're already see it to believe it category. I mean, I don't hate it. I love what they did in free agency. They loaded up. They went after everybody in free agency, and they retained Crosby. I'm excited about Dean. They just don't have that weapon on the perimeter. That's the biggest thing. They got the best tight end in football, but who's going to be able to take the load for either Cousins or Mendoza? And that's where I think they go in the 27 draft. Now, I've got the Raiders going 6-11 next year, and that's a perfect range to get a Cam Coleman. And now you got a number one. Arch to the Dolphins. Is that what you'd rather do if the Dolphins were bottom 3 next year? Or they wound up with the top pick, you'd immediately go quarterback because Malik Willis is going to be earning money. Are we going to have Arch stay behind him to start? You'd rather go with a quarterback than go with Jeremiah Smith and Cito Juarez? You'd go there. Best tight end in football is Colston Loveland. He was taken higher than Brock Bowers, right? From Southside. I think he can be someday. I think he can get into that conversation. Don't waste your time with Arch Manning. He's not worth it. That's why I've been talking about JJ should be that first pick. Just go with Smith. Go with the Hall of Famer that you're grabbing, and then go get a quarterback either later in the draft or in the next one. Chiefs fan. What do we see here? Trey McBride, best tight end. Yeah, I mean, he was far and away the best for fantasy last year. Kirk Cousins is quarterback one over Mendoza for now for the Raiders. And I think that's fine for what they're going to be next year. Allow Mendoza to come in for something like 6 games. Maybe it's 8, half the season, maybe less. And give him some live reps, but he's not in a position where there's any confidence that's lost because of him getting the chance to simply play in a couple of games, get experience, and feel what it's like, and improve week to week, know what the game prep is, get in there and perform, as opposed to like the expectation right now immediately having to do so. Like improve the offensive line, and that is what's going to be fascinating next year. What do the Raiders do? Let's say they have a top 12 pick. Do we go O-line? Do we go wide receiver? Or do we go edge? Which premier position do we attack? Those are the top 3 positions outside of quarterback. Receiver, weapon, right? We go playmaker. We go pass rusher on defense, Simmons or Stewart. Or we go offensive line, Gooseby, Jordan Seaton, one of these guys. Gavin, Saints will win NFC South. I've seen a lot of chatter on that. That'd be one of them that have been talked about. Explain the Chiefs. It's simple with Mahomes. I just got to see what he looks like. He's so good at being able to extend and move around, and it's 3rd and 6. He picks up 7 and dives forward and using his physical lower half to get the ball out in that power. And with a question about his mobility coming in for me on Mahomes, I got to see what he looks like at the earlier part of the year before I'm like, all right, the Chiefs are right back to where they were. Because, again, remember, they were struggling for a lot of last year. They did lose to the Cowboys on Thanksgiving. They did lose to the Eagles week 2. They did lose week 1 to the Chargers. So, it's not like they were just unbelievable last year with the Mahomes injury. And I could see Mahomes coming back before, you're saying October, like week 6 in there. From Jacob, wouldn't that be nice? What did Jacob say? Oh, a Seahawks rematch. Billy, what will the conference championships look like this year? In my opinion, I would go Texans, Chargers, and I think I'd go Rams, Lions. Rams, Lions at SoFi, and then the Texans against the Chargers. Potential? LA versus LA in the Super Bowl. How are the Rams on the same level as the Seahawks? Well, it's Super Bowl or bust. That's how. Seattle, if they don't win the Super Bowl next year, the expectation is to be back there. And for the Rams, if they do anything but win the Super Bowl, it would be a disappointing season. So that's why they're on the same level, right? Super Bowl or bust for next year. It's the expectation of what they are as a team and what they have. That's why they are in that category. With the healthy Joe Burrow, the whole year healthy Joe Burrow, because they did miss 2 years ago with awful defense. Healthy Joe Burrow, I'll go 10-7. Bengals in a wild card team. Jacob, 3 NFC North teams are in contenders because they're all excellent rosters, quarterback by, you could argue, top 10, top 12 quarterbacks. How far will the Packers make it? I actually have them as either a wild card round exit or divisional round. I don't see them getting to the title game next year. Unless Micah looks like how he did before the injury. Offensively, Matthew Golden steps up into that wide receiver 1. Tucker Kraft is the same guy. Like, you have your questions fully answered. There's a lot of ifs that I would need to see answered for me to be that high on Green Bay. And I was high on Green Bay. I was as high as anybody. I'm a diehard Bears fan, and I was incredibly high, Caleb, Best case scenario for the Packers, they're a contender without a doubt. They were last year, the first couple of weeks, or they were against Denver, up 9 before the interception from Love. And what's too bad about that pick from Love is if he doesn't throw that pick, they might have the football instead of Micah being on the field when he does get hurt. I know you guys know a little bit about butterfly effect and things work, and it's possible that could have just simply not happened if that sequence goes in. But Cal Flips, Big C Money, Caleb, Jacob Ramos, and Grant, all you guys, make sure that you're following. I appreciate y'all being in here, just chatting ball on a Thursday evening. This is fun. Do you see the Panthers making a run or just a first round? I could see Carolina winning a playoff game next year. Let's give them some respect with that secondary. But until I see CJ looking like he did against the Rams in that regular season game, poised, and he's been very good under pressure in big moments, I got to see that first. As of now, I'd go 9-8 for Carolina, but they win the division. From Landon, Bengals Super Bowl or bust. You're saying Joe Burrow is arguably better than Mahomes when he's healthy, and they can take it. 9-8 is what I was thinking too from Big C Money. Again, the division's bad, but New Orleans got better. The Falcons are ultra talented, and obviously with Tampa Bay, if Baker plays, man, they were 6-2, and I had them in the top 5 of my power rankings at the start of last year. And they lose to Detroit, and they get blown out by the Rams on Sunday night. Was like, oh my goodness, these teams are not even. It's not even JV versus varsity right here. Falcons will be held back by Penix or by Tua. Tampa would be better without Baker. So who do you think would be better in there at quarterback? Buckeye Nation. Like, you think they go quarterback in 27? Kimberly, I appreciate the repost. Appreciate the follow. Thank you. And thank you for the sub on YouTube here. I'm probably going to be at the Super Bowl in Nashville because I live there. That would be a lot of fun. You forgot Jets at S-tier. Fixed it for you from Michael. Look, if the Jets are a bottom 3 team in the league and they get one of the top-end quarterbacks and the Colts just are not very good next year and they can pick up an elite edge like Stewart or Simmons, or they can bring in Cam Coleman, and also Green Bay or the Cowboys, that's a pick that's like in the top 12 or top 15, and they add another guy in the secondary, let's say, you're looking at a Jets team that could make the playoffs in 2027. Zero doubt. There's none. Chargers above the Commanders. We just destroyed them. And what team in rebuilding would surprise you the least by being good? The team that would surprise me the least would be the Titans right now. With Cam Ward is a stud. They've got not a bad receiving core now with Manor, Robinson, and Tate. I like Singleton back there as a number 2. What team? Yep. Ward is good for real from Caleb. And defensively, I've talked about it the entire process. That Anthony Hill is going to be a sleeper in this draft. JC, the Niners are going to smash. I mean, if you watch a lot of my content, you'll know I speak really highly about San Francisco. And it's just a matter of when you have that many injuries, like, what are you going to look like? Are those guys going to be the same players coming back from those injuries? Healthy Jaden with a defense that won't give up 40 every game, and we are for sure contenders. I see no lies detected. What's going on, Rusty? How you doing? From Is That Dill? Jamari DK? Yeah. The Titans' offensive line, that's somewhere that you could address in 2027. That's what I would assume they wind up going. Or do you go get like that dominant edge? Like the Titans are in a win-win next year. They truly are. You could be terrible, and it's like, all right, now we got to add an offensive line piece to protect Cam. Do we get a Gooseby? Do we get a Seaton? Or do you go defense and Saleh gets his Bosa, he gets a Simmons, or he gets one of these premier edge talents, or they're competing for a playoff spot, and you're like, holy cow, Cam Ward, we are right there, guys, and we can pull it off in free agency, make a trade, and add someone in. JC, I am a Chicago Bears fan, so when you talk about the 49ers should be in the contending category, I fully agree. You know, in my power rankings, I've got San Francisco right up there, up highly. Philly, just playoffs. Well, it's playoffs. It's not like guaranteed to make the playoffs. Well, JC, you know why they're not in there. It's because of like Christian McCaffrey. We got to see him be healthy once again. That's always a question mark. When he's healthy, yeah, this is a playoff team. And then, what's going on, La Cosa Nostra? Good to see you back in here. It's been a couple of weeks, I think. But Bosa, Warner, I love the receiving core now with Stribling and Evans. It is not based on the left to right category. It's not like number 1, number 2, like that. I know a lot of people do power rankings like that, but it's actually not that way of how I do these. Don't do my Steelers like. But on this last point here, JC, and JC, make sure that you're following. We talk a lot about San Francisco. Of course we do. That was our best video last year, was a preview prediction for the Seahawks 49ers game. Unbelievable. They were a game away from the 1 seed. And we just need to see those guys that were hurt and what they look like next year. It's the biggest concern that I have. George Kittle, is he going to be the same guy? Because remember, you had Kittle for that back part of the run. I know he didn't play. He wasn't on the field, though, against Chicago, right? Max, Steelers will win that division. And with Burrow and Lamar not injured like they were last year, you still think? And then stabbed Sussy Boy. Okay. Still, I don't know who the best name of the day is, but we'll find one. We've got, how do you think the Vikings will do with Kyler? And genuinely, what you're considering? Well, Philly, it's obvious. Right tackle, Lane Johnson, right? He wasn't able to stay healthy last year. Like, he's been unbelievable on that side. So, how do you think the Vikings will do with Kyler? I've got the Vikings going 7-10 next year, but with Philly, I'm concerned about what they're going to look like without Brown if he's gone. Like, he's been a top 5 receiver in the league and elevated them into a position there in Philly to compete for titles with A.J. Brown. Even if Burrow and Lamar are healthy, you're still confident that they will be very good. Okay. So, Max, like, is there something they specifically did on defense that has you so high, or is it just what they've got right now at Pittman and Jeremy Bernard improving their unit? Is that what it is? I'll give a little bit of pushback. I'm very high on what Baltimore looks like. Matthew Goldie got his 1 touchdown. Let's move Green Bay up 1-2 from Bart. But Max, I can see it. I mean, you're looking at somebody that was a very big Pittsburgh fan. I'm a Bears fan, so I've always... What's going on, Ziad? Good to have you back. Yeah, the Ravens brought in Mike Green last year in the second, and they also brought in Zion Young, if you guys are familiar with the Missouri defense from a year ago. That they're excited about. But Max, Bart, and my guy Dingle, make sure that the 3 of you guys are followed up These are great questions that I love going through. How much Packers fan? And I low-key think they're a little high. Wait, how much Packers fan? What was the? I'm a Packers fan. They're too high low-key because of the injuries. And Jordan Love, question marks, concerns about Love? I would assume, Dingle. Is that what's going on? Josh Jacobs, is he going to be able to stay healthy at this stage? Being an older player? All right, 28. But what does he turns 29 next year? Let's get Aaron back for his last year from Bart. Man, I haven't heard that one. I have not heard the Aaron Rodgers to the Packers to finish out the career. It would certainly be fun. The storylines are writing themselves there with that one. I think Jags should be higher because the way they played this year from Mercedes. Yeah, they did play great, but they did lose a lot with Devin Lloyd and Achane. They lost both of these guys. You would choose any quarterback over Baker. Just anybody. I like the years the Rams won the Super Bowl, 2021, and then it was 98, right? 98, 99 season. From OKO, I appreciate it. I'll take anything. I appreciate you for sharing. I got no issues. You think I look? Mendoza is better than Baker from Locho. Steelers rule, but stupid for Rodgers to re-sign. I mean, they're looking for a bridge before they try and obviously see if Will Howard or what's going on, Howard Jesus. How we doing? From Max, if you are a Bears fan, yep, I am a Bears fan, Max. Max, I am so high in the Detroit Lions next year because of what the schedule looks like, because getting Kirby Joseph and Brian Branch back to full health. You've got one of the best receiving duos in football. You got the best back in the league, arguably. You just solidified the O-line opposite of Sewell with Blake Miller, who's going to be awesome already. Derek Moore, I'm fired up about opposite of Hutchinson. Even as a Bears fan, I got a lot of respect for what Detroit's going to look like. And you know who leads the league? As I've said throughout my streams, who leads the league in passing touchdowns and yards the last 2 years? It's Jared Goff. Last 3 years, it's Goff. Last 4 years, it's Jared Goff. And still, he gets continual hate, even though he's a top 10 QB in the league. There's an argument that he's been top 5. You guys got screwed with the schedule. If you get a wild card, I would be happy with a wild card. Them being there at 10-7. He wasn't leading. No, not leading in yards. If you look up who has the most passing yards the last 2 years in the NFL combined, in the last 3 and the last 4, and touchdowns, it's Goff. Is this in order from left to right as well? It is not. Why are the Bucks on the same level as the Falcons? I think they're pretty similar. I mean, a talent composite. Ziad, I am a Bears and Ohio State fan. Isn't he top 2 for yards and touchdowns over the past 5 years? He's number 3. Josh Allen, I want to say Mahomes are both top 2 in those both categories. But let me see for a second. Most passing last 5 years. I believe he's number 3 in both categories. Most passing touchdowns in the NFL last 5 years. We're gonna look this up. Well, I don't know what. I have no idea what's going on with my iPad not loading the statistic. But I thought he passed Mahomes. No, Mahomes is still there. Bro lost his money. Who lost their money? Slamming? Taisha, it's your bedtime. Good night, Taisha. Either way, low-key a Bears fan now because F the Packers from Max. Max, that is one of the best comments of the day. Make sure that you're following, Max. I appreciate that sentiment. Would love to have you. A lot of NFC North fans are on here right now, YouTube as well as TikTok. It is great to see the shared hate of Green Bay. I remember one season he had over 5,000, and they won when he had 5 interceptions against the Texans. I'm thinking Rams-Texans Super Bowl. What you think, Adam? Adam. That is my exact prediction. I've got Herbert winning MVP, Anderson winning Defensive Player of the Year. I've got Rams over Texans in Super Bowl. Bobby Swizz. What's going on, Bobby Swizz? I love Jackson Dart. And I don't even think his biggest weakness is like getting outside the pocket and taking too many hits. Jackson Dart just has to process better. Get the football out. There's a couple of times last year where it's like you can just get the football out. Oh shit. Ball door for sure from Adam. I got you, Adam. Without a doubt. Make sure that you're following, Adam. I appreciate you. Guys, if you have not done so already, please make sure to sub and follow. I appreciate all you guys for being in here, talking football on a Thursday, beautiful evening. Do you have the Browns in rebuild from Dizzy Drew? Yep, that is the rebuilding category for the Browns. Although they had a great draft, I still have a big question mark surrounding quarterback for Cleveland as of now. How many concussions for Scam this year? Hopefully for Scadaboo, only one. I call them Scam instead of because of Cam and Scat. That's bad. That makes no sense. All I need is a quarterback. For Cleveland? You don't think Cleveland should beat... Wait, low-key, never mind. Packers to the bowl. Bears 0-17? I don't think you want the Bears to go 0-17, though. I got to be honest with you. Do you really want to see Jeremiah Smith on the Bears? With Caleb Williams? I think that the league should honestly hope that Chicago goes like 7-10 than getting a top 5 pick where they could get Simmons or Stewart or Smith. Kind of forgot about who, Dingle? Who'd you forget about? Like, oh, you forgot about Jeremiah? It happens. It happens sometimes. Yeah, I don't think that would be the best thing for the rest of the NFL if they had Burden, Odunze, Loveland, and Smith. That would be... And who knows, maybe they would go with edge or another position, but it certainly looked like the Bears were going best available in this draft. Texans going to be very good from Man ID 1. The best defense in football. That would be the best receiving core in the history of the NFL, I believe, if they did do that. When is the NFL? Yeah, the Bears obviously aren't getting Smith. They're not going to lose more than... At the max, they're losing 10 games next year, and they'd have to give up 3 first-rounders. I don't even know. Yeah, Jeremiah going to Cleveland, Buckeye Nation can absolutely happen. And I am a Bears fan and a Ohio State fan, so it's a funny conversation right now. Now they're gonna pull a Bears move and draft a kicker. I mean, Torrey Taylor was a heck of a pick, right? Cole Blue from Trey. Man, I feel bad that I got walked into that. But anyway, I appreciate the enthusiasm at least, Trey. I'm completely okay with Cleveland. OHIO. Caleb painted nails. I mean, we know. Do you guys know why Caleb paints his nails? Like, it's for mental health. He does it for kids that struggle with mental health, and it is part of his Caleb Cares movement. So if you don't like Caleb Williams painting his nails, then you are not supporting mental health for children. I mean, you can like you can feel however you want, but personally, I really don't like. I don't put anything into that. A dude can do whatever he wants. Worrying about what's on another man's nails is weird to me from Kylo. I just think it's the weirdest thing imaginable. People are just trying to come up with ways to hate on, to bring down, and great people. You know, very talented people. Dat boy with a wild comment. Dat boy. That's Marvin Harrison, Reggie Wayne, and Dallas Clark better off the dome. I mean, that was a pretty goated lineup. That was a pretty dang goated lineup, I gotta admit. But that was a pretty good. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. Dallas Clark, Reggie, Marv. But this squad potentially going 4 deep, and then they had defense with Mathis and Freeney. And they had Sanders back there in the back end. You kidding me? Yeah, I think Angelo's going to be a Buckeye. I think he's going to be a hard-hitting safety. You're going to have Angelo Smith, Jed Harrison, Jameer Brown. I mean, that's going to be a fun team. That's going to be really fun. I don't know who the quarterback's going to be in 2028, but that team is going to be wild. Got Smith's brother. You got Marv's younger brother. You're going to have one of the top 5 wide receiver recruits in the country. That's going to be a really fun team. They're going to be a little bit smaller, less physical, but that's going to be that receiving core. Don't sleep on it. I do fantasy. Man, I don't know one. And Andy Arnold, yes, Peyton Manning, yep, he was there as well. Obviously, that's our guy. Bethea, opposite of Sanders. That's a pull. Antoine, yep. How about those teams? Read this from Andy. 22 Ohio, 22 Buckeyes also clear. What's going on, Evan? Good to have you back. We were worried there a little bit, Evan, that you had lost your way, but you're back. You're back in here. You made it home. From Commander Nation, you watch Trey A. But man, I don't know. Make sure that you're following. And on my YouTube right now in the description, you can see my Discord. I have not really worked to build it out. I've just been asking people to hop on in there. I don't even know how many people are in there right now. Maybe like 4. But guys, make sure to be following. Man, I don't know. Commander Nation. Make sure to follow. Head. It's I can see 2028 Buckeyes winning the national title. No doubt. There's no doubt. I agree. 2026 national title. I'll take every other year. Every other year is fine. We'll be happy with that. It's just mainly quarterback. Especially with Angelo Smith. I think Jed Harrison's going to wind up being, just personally, from what I've seen from them a little bit earlier. Obviously, there's a lot of development left. But I think Jed Harrison's going to be unbelievable. Yeah, dude, Angelo Smith coming in and playing safety. And then he's going up against Marv's brother in practice. That's just incredible. Philly not in contenders is kind of wild from Chris Hansen. Well, look, with Philadelphia, you're losing a top 5 receiver in the league. Your right tackle, Lane Johnson, who I've loved, by the way, is now a question mark. Like, is he going to stay healthy the entire season? No, both those guys are going to the Buckeyes. Both of them will be at Ohio State. There's zero doubt. Any chance, Zay, what's going on? Good to see you in here. Any chance of the Ravens? Any chance of the Ravens winning the Super Bowl? I mean, this is contenders. They're contenders. The Rams in Seattle are in the Super Bowl or bust category. Like, that's the expectation. If they don't, it's a disappointing year. I love Chris Henry Jr. I think this guy's got a lot of potential. Patrick Mahomes is going to the Super Bowl. I don't know if he's getting back there this year. I've got a lot of questions and marks about his health back from the injury. Dave, 64, what's happening? Just going over power rankings. We've been talking a lot of college football lately. Ethan, Seahawks aren't making it out of the first round. I don't know, Evan. Did he? I know that there's been a little bit of talk about that. What's going on, Ziad? What can he help you with? How do you think Micah Parsons is going to do? I mean, he was on a Defensive Player of the Year pace, or right there with Miles the first half of the year. Slowed down a little bit, but he would have been number 2 over Will, I'd assume, if he stayed healthy and finished the year out. But 13.5 sacks, 3 forced fumbles, 18 tackles for loss. A Micah Parsons year, if he's back and healthy. If he misses 4 games, though, then double-digit sacks could be tough. What's going on, Ziad? How can we help? How can we help you? Jalen, what is the question here? Chiefs, not contenders. I got to see what Mahomes looks like, right? Coming back from the injury. His mobility is so important to the way that he operates and can scramble around and extend plays. So, as of now, I have to see what Mahomes will be at the beginning of the season. Miami loses. Wait, what was this? Miami loses week 1 against Raiders. You can them as a number 1 pick. Dave, 64. I absolutely agree. Swap Chiefs and Jets from Yo CR83. Wow, that's a big one. Where does that come from? Is that a Broncos fan? Is that a Raiders? Is that a Chargers fan? Is that a Bills fan? Ravens? Like, who do we have that puts the Chiefs down at the bottom? Oh, we're Bears fan 13. How we doing? I don't know if I have Bills as a contender anymore since they can't figure out a wide receiver 1. But they got DJ Moore now. I think DJ Moore is going to have like a 1,200-yard, 10-touchdown season with Allen. Isn't that the expectation, folks? And then they got the tight ends. They got a top 5 back in the league. I think 2028, the Jets can actually be really good as long as they suck this year. This is the most important season in Jets history, or at least in the last 15 years, since they went to back-to-back AFC titles. They need to be a bottom 5 team. They need to go 4-13. They need to get their franchise quarterback. Must do it. They're also going to need a little bit of help. They're going to need either Green Bay, Dallas, or Indianapolis to finish with a bottom 10 record. So they use that first-round pick, and they can add another weapon. They can add a elite player on defense, and then either Green Bay, Dallas, or Indy, another one of those teams to not make the postseason and have a pick somewhere in the top 15 range. With those 3 things happening, the Jets can add, let's call it Arch Manning. They could add Cam Coleman. They could go with Dante Moore, Cam Coleman. And then you're looking at Amari Washington at 15th overall, or Bear Alexander, or David Stone. There's a lot they could do. None of that's going to work because the Packers are winning. That's fine, Dinglehopper. But we're talking about 2028, 2029 when the Jets could turn into a contending team. Since Smith was begging Chris Henry Jr. to come home, how do you think? I think Chris Henry Jr. is going to wind up starting. Like early. I'm talking September. He puts himself. McEwen right now looks like he's going to be in there with Innocent JJ, but I think Henry's going to come in the rotation down by the red zone, get a shot, and have a touchdown or two, and Ryan's just like, and Cortez or Hankton are just like, I don't think we can keep this kid off the field. He's too impactful with his size. Do you want to switch the topic from Evan? I mean, we've been chatting. I can't unfortunately switch the let's see if I can. Can I switch? Let's see. I don't even know if I can switch the backgrounds. Yeah, TikTok I don't know why it hasn't allowed me to, but it has not been letting me switch it in the background. Because I could throw up some rankings like yesterday. Talk a little bit about some college rankings right now. But we can talk about anything. This is just like the main premise. Get everybody in here. We're talking about the rankings, but we've been talking college, honestly, more so for the last half hour. Gilbert, I don't believe in Kyler Murray. I didn't believe in him coming out of Oklahoma. Didn't believe in him in Arizona. After in 2020, they started the year 6-2. Penn State. I don't know if you saw my video earlier, Evan, but I have Penn State as the third most likely team to make the college football playoff next year that did not last year. That schedule is beautiful. They play at Washington. They, I believe, play at Oregon. Or they play at Washington. Is it at Indiana? Yeah. You knew Chris. Also, I've been following. I mean, I live out here in LA, so I know Chris Henry Jr.'s game a little bit. Undefeated, not going to lie. For Penn State, you think? Let's bring up their schedule. Oh, it's at Michigan, at Washington, and then USC at home. There's no Ohio State. There's no Oregon. There's no Indiana. They play at Michigan, at Washington, and they play USC. They go 1-2 in those. They win the rest of their games. They go 10-2. They're in the CFP. Just lock and load it. That's how it's gonna go for them. They'll have their opportunity. We have one of the toughest schedules that I have seen in college football next year. Oregon and Indiana. Obviously, the game. We got Michigan at Iowa, at Texas. You've got 3 games against teams that are projected to be in the top 7 next year in Indiana, Oregon, and Texas. Does anyone else have 3 games against teams that are projected to be in the top 7 next year? 2 of them on the road? People think I think it's pretty tough. Bengals not in contenders is ridiculous from Max Snell Grove. Well, again, they've had a bottom 4 rushing offense each of the last 4 seasons. Evan, going to bed. All right. Peace. Have a great evening. Thank you for joining the stream. Guys, if you haven't done so, please make sure to be following. Thank you, Evan, for joining throughout, hopping back in and out. I appreciate you, my man. Minnesota went 9-8 with a quarterback that had 11 touchdowns and 12 picks. They can't be worse. That is if they're able to retain what they were defensively. As much as Minnesota fans didn't like Hargrave and Jonathan Allen, I did like those guys on the interior. Now you go younger, and it's the big Citrus and Caleb Banks. Are they immediately going to be an improvement over Hargrave and Allen? in year one? It's possible. 49ers are contenders easily for Mason. Yeah, they are. They are right there. I don't know what Kill's gonna look like. I don't know what Fred Warner's. Is he the same player from the injury or Bosa? Michael, is Christian McCaffrey gonna stay healthy? There's five ifs with San Francisco for next year, and it's a very tough division. But it is a third place schedule. Gilbert, I see what you mean with Minnesota. What was a great sign was Dallas Turner last year. Didn't Dallas Turner have like 8 sacks? I know that he was showing up. Yeah, 8 sacks, like 10 tackles for loss, I think. Yeah, he was. He had what? 11 tackles for loss, 66 total tackles, 4 forced fumbles. I mean, Dallas Turner turned into that guy you drafted, Defensive Player of the Year in the SEC 2 years ago. I was too busy watching Miles. Dallas Turner, I believe now here should have a breakout season. Yep. Austin, yeah, losing Grenard will hurt a little bit, but you got some 2027 NFL draft capital. That's a beautiful thing. You have a little bit of wiggle room to move up. Maybe it's for a quarterback. Maybe it's for another weapon on the outside. All right, Dingle, we'll be seeing you. I get it. The time is late, but have a great rest of your evening. Appreciate you being in here. Best receiver trio in the league as well. Yeah, Jawan, Addison, and Jefferson. I mean, you have to say right now the Eagles technically do have it, Gilbert, until AJ leaves. I think you'd agree, right? If AJ leaves, obviously, it's no longer Philly. Packers are Super Bowl bound from Garrison. Let's be real. They absolutely could be. Yeah, Gilbert. Gilbert, Garrison, Reaper J, all you guys make sure that you're following. We're trying to get to 20, 38, 50 this evening. We're closing in on that goal, but we're still a little bit of ways from getting there. Thank you, VA boy. I appreciate you. 25 away. We've been here for a little over 2 hours. We're going to be here for about another 2 hours. If they beat the Bears or not, cheese grinders all the way. So that's what, based on waiting for another comment in here. What do we got going on YouTube from Black OP? Let's go Chargers. How do you make Marvin Harrison Jr. look bad? Murray is cooked. Sorry about that to our TikTok Minnesota fan. I would also swap the Saints and Washington from your YoCR 83. Interesting. I like the Antonio Williams pick from Clemson to help out McLaurin. I really like that pick. At the beginning of the season, I thought he could have been a first rounder going into the year. From Monkey Arms, I think the Bears aren't going to be good. Why don't you think Chicago is going to be good? I don't know how you make Marvin Harrison Jr. look bad. It's mind-boggling. But he started losing confidence, started dropping passes, not going over the middle at the same level of intensity. It was weird seeing how that went for Marv with Kyler. Well, straight up quarterback, Gilbert, right? Goff, Caleb, and obviously Jordan Love. Like, they're all top 12 QBs in football. So from that starting point, and then they're deep. Like, offensive line-wise, Green Bay lost a little bit. They're still solid there. Running back, I would argue that the running back situation in all three places is better than Minnesota's. And then defensively, you'd probably single out Chicago, but they had some major injuries last year at key positions. With their new schedule, Garrison, I understand that argument point, but you have a lot of good rest opportunities, and there's weaker teams split in between. They don't ever have like 3 back-to-back absolute crazy tough, except at the end of the season they go division playing Green Bay, Detroit, Minnesota to end the year. They lost a bunch of players, and I am a Packers fan. But they were able to retain, right? They lost Brisker and Byard, monkey arms, but they got Thieneman and Bryant, so they're honestly probably better there. And Dahlman retired, but they go get Logan Jones, who will wind up being as good, if not better, than Dahlman in a couple years. And they lost DJ Moore, but they'll replace his production by more targets to the other guys. From dexterity, Panther, but I could see it. The Bears could absolutely regress next year. It's possible. They don't see as many turnovers, and they can't stop the run. And they don't have somebody turn into a number one. It's possible. I can't rule it out. Can't say it's impossible. Can't do that. Dexterity. Panthers are contenders. They had a great offseason. Are they truly? Contenders means you feel like you would put money that they're going to win 2 playoff games next year. You'd be very willing to throw $500 on any of those 2 teams, on that team to win 2 playoff games. Would you feel that way about the Cowboys? About the Chiefs would probably be a team you'd be confident in. I'm not confident enough to think that I think that the Eagles are going to win 2 playoff games next year. Neither am I about the 49ers or the Bengals. But Chicago, they were 10 yards away. I heart Jesus. Yep, I absolutely see what's going on. That's what a contender is, right? Can they win 2 playoff games? Does anyone have doubt that Lamar and the Ravens can do that, or Buffalo can? Chicago being that close a year ago, Detroit being back to that level? Green Bay would probably be a one team we got questions about. The Chargers, obviously Herbert's 0-3 in the postseason. To be honest, I'd take Diggs because he's bigger and we could use the sides on the outside. Eagles at question mark. Playoffs for Philadelphia. What's crazy about that? The identity. Lane Johnson on the right side. We saw them struggle. Is Patullo being gone? Just the offense is going to be incredible? It could be. Stowers and Lemon, new offensive coordinator, and things take off. Every year. I mean, the division's getting better, right? The division is from Sucka. But Sucka Free Dame, I got you. And Bruv, Sucka, Gilbert, Hungry Jack, Ja, all you guys, make sure that you're following. It is so much fun to be in these conversations. I love it. We're in May. There's a playoff basketball game on. I have no idea what's happening or what the score is because we're chatting football. We're talking NFL, college football right now. It's an absolute blast. I'm a football fanatic, just sports. Yeah. It's fun, man. It's fun. I appreciate you giving some respect to the list. The toughest thing for me was placing teams like the Bengals or the Chiefs or the Jaguars, San Francisco. Like, you can't have everybody be a contender. I got 11 on here right now. Why are the Dolphins higher than the Cardinals? I mean, have we looked at the Cardinals schedule, Marcos? Have we seen that? I've got them ceiling 6 wins. Yeah, this year it always shocks us. There's always 1 or 2 teams that go worst to first and 2 teams that went first to worst. I meant to say lower. My bad. Why are the Dolphins lower than the Cardinals? Well, that's what I. Oh, do you think Arizona would be worse? I mean, both of these teams are. We're comparing 3-14 to 4-13 right now with Arizona and Miami. It's a race to the number one draft spot. The first pick in the 2027 NFL Draft, Miami Dolphins select Jeremiah Smith, wide receiver, Ohio State. Second pick, Arizona Cardinals, Arch Manning, quarterback, Texas. Third pick, the New York Jets select Dante Moore, quarterback, Oregon. That would be my probably top three. Then number 4, who would I go fourth? Fourth, I would go with, I'd go Raiders. I'd go Raiders at 4. The Raiders select Cam Coleman, or they'd go Colin Simmons, edge, Texas. I want to see Jeremiah Smith to Arizona. Really tennis. Yeah, Marv or Tate. Yeah, seeing Smith with Tate in the NFL, I bet Cornell Tate would be like fired up and be like, dude, I cannot ever be the number one guy. Anywhere I go, I can't be the number one guy. And to be honest, I don't think Tennessee would go. Would they go Smith over an edge defender after they went Tate last year? Would they really go that direction? It's a fascinating question to ask if they truly would do that. But Gilbert, you're right. You don't pass on Jeremiah Smith. You don't pass on Jeremiah Smith, folks. Ziad, I have to go. Take care, Ziad. We got a lot of people that are tucking it in for the evening. Do you think Calm would go for Diggs or Ayuk or another receiver? Calm? Wait. Do you think, are we talking about there, VA boy? I'm sorry, I don't follow. Oh, the Commanders. Commanders. Yeah, Ayuk could be a great. You gotta pay him. Usually it's WAS. The way I feel with Washington's usually WAS when I see the Washington Commanders brought up in conversation in a chat. But Bailey DA Frenchie was all over it being the Commanders though. Bailey DA, make sure that you're following. Make sure that you hit a follow and follow your guy. This is awesome. Do you think Quincy Rhodes? Man, I mean, if we go through the top edge prospects, Simmons, Stewart, Uyunglele, Damon Wilson, Umami Ellen, Kenyatta Jackson, there's John Henry Daly. Rhodes would be in the top 8 for me. Gilbert, I am a Bears and an Ohio State fan. So that's why you say you don't pass on Jeremiah Smith. I'm like, I've met Jeremiah Smith. I've been right next to him, and I'm like, this is probably the best wide receiver since Calvin Johnson. And he could wind up being better than Calvin, have a longer career, and be more impactful in big games in the postseason. He could. Calvin wasn't able to stay healthy long enough. By the end, his knees just couldn't take it anymore. So if Smith stays healthy, he goes to a place where he's got a quarterback in his situation. I could see 15 years stacking 1,600 yards, 1,472, and 1,500, and 1,900, and 1,260, We'll see how the Bears do with the first place schedule. Yep. Even if you have a worst place schedule or first place schedule, you still got to play, 6 division games, right? Jeremiah Smith is going to be a Jet. It won't be the worst thing if the Jets. All right, Ziad, have a great rest of your evening. I appreciate you coming on in here tonight. Even if he goes to the Jets, that would probably mean the Jets have like the first or the second pick, and they took a quarterback, and then the Colts suck. Daniel Jones is unhealthy. Allen Iverson Glazer, what's going on, man? Our all-time, one of our favorite names on in here. They could take Smith at like 3, go back-to-back. Yeah, the AFC West, the NFC West, or the NFC North. I would go with the North being the top division in football because there's no bad team. Whereas the West, you could still go Raiders, and obviously the other West, you could go Niners. Not Niners, Cardinals. Dolphins go Archie, Jets go Smith. And if the Jets have a high pick and like the Colts would be my team that I could see struggling as opposed to the Cowboys or Green Bay. Let's say Daniel Jones isn't back or injuries derail. The Colts could wind up having one of the all-time trades real quickly there. That's what I mean. The Jets have the Colts first. So if the Colts have a really bad year, that's how the Jets get Jeremiah Smith and Arch Manning. If they have 2 picks in the top 3, remember how quickly the Texans turned it around with Stroud and Anderson Jr.? They can do the exact same thing. I am a Chicago Bears fan and Ohio State.